going to be World War III.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, January 9th, 2020. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1209.
This is No Agenda.
Deconstructing the Dream Team and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where everyone's saying and thinking the same thing. Go Niners. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Only guy I know who chokes on his own name. John C. Dvorak. You want to do it over, or are you happy with your performance?
I didn't choke on my own name. That must have been a glitch in the Skype.
Oh, okay. Yeah, must have been it. Well, sorry. There you go. Yes, go for it. So do we have the final teams for the Super Bowl finally? Answer me. Do we?
No, we don't.
Oh.
Today we have two games today, the championships of the two conferences, and the winners, those two winners go to the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so who are the possible choices, just so I can call it now and be done with it?
Oh. Well, you have the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
And they're playing, I don't know who they're playing because it's really not a team that can beat them. Let me think. Well, they're playing somebody.
Okay.
And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Tennessee Titans.
Okay. I think
that's right. Oh, no, the Niners. That's right. I'm looking at the chat room. The Niners are playing the team from Green Bay. Go Packers.
Okay, so you didn't give me any information?
Okay, you got the Green Bay Packers, the San Francisco 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Tennessee Titans. Those are the four teams.
Okay, the Titans for the win, they take it all.
Why?
Why question these things? I am from the future.
Normally, there's some political, economic reason that you make these selections. Just
no. I'm just guessing now. Once we get to the final two, we can do the political, economic reasons. This is just a gut feeling.
Okay, well, they'll be lucky to get past Kansas City, but
all right.
You never know. They're kind of a surprise team. They're the lowest seeded of the whole foursome.
It's time for an underdog.
It's a miracle they got as far as they have.
Underdog time. I would like to welcome the brand new listeners from New York City to the No Agenda family. As
we got an affiliate in New York now. Finally, WABC.
There was an important dinner last night here in Austin.
Ah,
yes, this was the former New York banker. It was his wife's birthday, and they celebrated this in the brand new hotel in Austin, the proper. Which I believe several of the attendees had invested in. So this was like the investors have a dinner at the hotel that's brand new. Can you imagine what that was like?
Sounds like a lot of cigars and booze.
No, but the New York former banker and his wife, they're kind of like the welcoming committee to New York, and anyone who moves from New York to Austin, they're always told, oh, you gotta hook up with those guys. And I will say they connect everybody, and they, so there may be 8 couples there last night, all of them between 40 and 50, all very successful. Everyone's still working, no one retired. Women too, no trophy wives, and all MSNBC viewers. So this was very entertaining.
I didn't see that coming.
Yes. So, however, I have kind of good news. What I've noticed is that these obviously very busy people, and they're just active in their businesses. They clearly use MSNBC as a guide, as their guide through the morass of news. Once I was kind of able to hit them in the mouth a bit, they were all extremely surprised with the information I had and very open to it, actually. There was no...
Well, that's unusual.
Yes, and I don't know if this is a trend. I think it may be because people are so tired of years and years of this bull crap in the media. And so the keeper was on the other side. Of course, strategic placements. We weren't sitting together, and she was across the table. And at a certain point, someone next to her, a gentleman said, yeah, I think Adam Schiff is a really good, upstanding politician. That was the funniest line of the night. And of course, the keeper is like, really? What? But everybody was open to alternative information. And once they figured out that I was the podfather, oh, okay. Well, now everyone, of course, had to tell me what their favorite shows were, which are pretty much universally The Daily, which is the New York Times Daily. I understand that. A lot of MSNBC.
They should just rename it The Gaily.
A lot of MSNBC. John, really? I'm trying to make friends here.
Go.
And so next to me is a young woman from New York, and she's only been in Austin a short amount of time. Huge Howard Stern fan. I say, this is an opportunity for me. Now I may be able to, get a listener here. So, well, I've been in New York. I lived in New York for
no listeners, by the way. Go on.
15. No, I think she may be listening. 15 years. I love Stern. I said, but ever since he got the serious, he has changed a little bit. And I think the new wife, Beth, has turned him a little soft. He said, yeah. Did you hear the interview between Howard and Hillary Clinton? I said, well, of course I did. That's prime material for our show. She says, how fantastic. I said, yes, it was really fantastic. And I said, she's going to run. That was the best thing I could have said all night. She said, what? No. I said, yeah, absolutely. I said, it's all in the cards. It's all set up. We've been predicting it just like we predicted the Pope. Anyway, John, I think we have a lot of new listeners who will be very, very surprised to hear.
Zero.
No, don't say zero. It was a really good evening. And again, I have to say, I love the openness. And to me, it just proved that, people just listen, and one gentleman was like, Rachel Maddow, she's so good at the facts. I'm like, no, not really.
That's what I said. None, zero, nobody's coming over.
I wouldn't say that. Anyway, I'm positive, man. What?
Optimist. You're an optimist.
I'm a big optimist. Exactly. That was nice. Well, I figured, maybe they'll learn something if they catch one show, and we'll see them at the next dinner, at the next birthday dinner, and we'll do it all over again.
Have they all moved to New York? These folk?
Yeah, no, they've all moved from New York.
I'm sorry, moved to Austin.
Yeah, they've all moved.
New York.
Yeah, from New York, from Manhattan. Some in finance, some healthcare, some other.
Do they run a witness protection program out of Austin?
Actually, I think it may be a form of that. It's not it's very plausible. It's like, hey man, if it's getting a little hot in the city, move on over to Austin. We'll take care of you. No worries.
Wow.
No worries. Yeah. No, I mean, these people are still afraid of guns. They haven't seen enough of them yet. So it's very, there's some fear there. Understandable if you're coming from New York. So I'll talk to you next year. Get used to it.
Yeah, well, what else did you learn? You must have learned couple of things going on that were besides the politics of the New York bankers all being into MSNBC and probably all Trump haters.
No, I don't think. Well, I don't think they were. This is what the big thing that I learned. The takeaway was, I think they're just tired of, if they were Trump haters, none of it showed. There was actually not a single, no one said anything that I heard the whole evening about Orange Man bad or any of that. Truly just like, if I had actually asked, hey, what do you think?
Hold on, stop. I don't want us to interrupt your flow, but is it possible that what you were witnessing is a bunch of very satisfied folks that weren't going to be bashing on Trump because they know he's done, he's gone, he's through?
No. In fact, I don't think so, because one of the guys is an architect, and he's building out in East Austin. And I said, well, that's great because you got the opportunity zone. Oh yeah, that's fantastic. That's the best thing. We got this great tax break. Say, oh, you mean the Trump tax break? What? Yeah, so it's the opportunity zones. Yeah, who do you think did that? No, I don't think that it felt to me like everyone's just tired of it. They'll watch Rachel. Maybe they'll watch Morning Joe. There were some definite Morning Joe viewers.
Oh, brother.
I said, oh, yeah, Mika Brzezinski is great. I said, she was better when her dad was alive. That made more sense to make fun of her. But no one pushed back. No, I have a good feeling about it. It means that people have just been beaten down, and now their minds are, I think, kind of open for change or different ideas. And I'm not trying to change anyone from their political persuasions, but just maybe a little less on the derangement side. It's like, let's just chill down. It's not all nuts, which is what I consistently explain. Is that's what we do. We try to keep you healthy. Not feeling good, listen tomorrow is what I said. So I expect them all to be here.
Okay.
And Australia?
You got a couple notes?
Yeah, I have several notes. I've got, actually, I have a little clip to play, and that will get us started.
A major storm system has brought valuable rain to drought-affected parts of Australia's east, but it's also caused flash flooding on major roads. A clean-up is now underway in many areas as the heavy rain moves onto the North South Wales mid-north coast.
It's hard not to smile seeing the happiness on this farmer's face. Yeah! Heavy rain drenching drought-stricken parts of the country's east, also helping to dampen fire zones. The downpours being celebrated in our regional centres, but it's created some chaos in the cities. In southeast Queensland, severe storms triggered widespread flash flooding. 330 millimetres of rain has been recorded at Loder Creek on the Gold Coast, where the SES has responded to more than 100 calls for assistance. The deluge so great it closed not only the Pacific Motorway for 6 hours, but also theme parks, Wet n Wild and Movie World shut for the day as the water levels rose. Zookeepers using brooms to try to keep alligators in their enclosures and wading through the water to rescue koalas. More than 100 millimetres of rain has been recorded at Bundarra in the Northern Tablelands, and for the first time in 5 years, water flowed through a creek in a drought-stricken regional town.
Once again, Australia, you're welcome.
Well, I got a note from a friend.
That was the biggest squeak I've heard your chair make yet.
Well, it's because I was leaned way back. I was enjoying the clip.
Okay.
Yeah, I also got my volume cranked way up.
Yeah, that's good. It's sounding fantastic.
Thanks for this show. It keeps me entertained. This is from Neville. You have to cry or laugh as most politicians in both our countries focus on anything as long as it's not to the benefit of the voters. Thanks for the rain. It's been a big help to Australia and not just New South Wales. The climate change faith followers has attacked our prime minister for the fires. Oh. It's his fault.
There you go.
As he does not do enough to change the climate crisis. This is even though our own scientists cannot say there's a direct link and have publicly said so. The Greenies will also not admit they have some responsibility. Buildup of fuel and opportunity for fires. About 15 or 20 years ago, they pushed Greenie policies through state and local governments, slowed or stopped back burning. Hello.
Yeah.
Closing roads and reduced management of national parks, imposing huge fines on farmers managing their own fire risk and preventing clearing trees and growth near housing estates.
Yeah.
They also will not recognize most fires are started by people, often on purpose and some by accident. Anyway, go and prepare as heaven forbid it is summer in Australia and it's likely to warm up again. He wants an "it's true" for this for that
yes.
comment.
Yes.
Now, so I'm watching Christina Amanpour, and she's got some Aussie on there, and he's arguing that climate change didn't cause these fires, and he kind of makes the same points that Neville here is making, which is that's mismanagement. They've let it happen.
Yeah, even the Aborigines say, hey, we didn't have this happen when we were in charge of everything here because we knew what to do. We'd take care. We'd set little fires, keep stuff smoldering all summer long, so we had it kind of contained.
Yeah, you have to do this in these areas. Yeah. So this guy's arguing with Christina Amanpour, who's going on and on with every litany, 97% of all scientists. How can you say such a thing? And she's just all in. She's which we'll discuss later in the show, a true believer. And this guy says, here's the problem that we're really starting to witness now. People don't want to do anything to prevent fires anymore. because it's so much easier to just blame climate change for everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And I was all in with this guy, what he said. Yeah. Oh, it's climate change this fall. Okay, well, we just have to do something about that, and then we won't have these fires anymore. And okay,
well, that's the same. That's the same in California.
Burned to death.
That's the same in California. It's the same attitude, essentially.
Yes, and California has the same series of problems. Like when I was working for the air pollution district, we would have these burn days. I mean, it was always carefully calculated when you did them, so you wouldn't have an inversion layer. But you'd have a burn day, and they'd burn off the Solano County, burn it to the ground, pretty much under controlled circumstances. And you never have these problems. You wouldn't have Paradise, the whole city burning to the ground. How does that happen?
So we came to the rescue, and there's just no denying that we operated the rain sticks. These are high precision instruments. They're from Utah, made by Sherry Osborne. These things are official. They are the real deal. You, I believe, keep yours in the gun case during the day.
Gun safe.
I'm sorry. Even better. Gun safe to make sure there's no illegal uses.
Yeah, I don't want anyone grabbing it or something. Who God knows what would happen.
Because we shook our sticks, and there was about 3-day delay, which, of course, part of that is just the time difference with Australia, the speed of light. But also, when people are listening to the show,
but also people download the podcast. Yes,
no, that's exactly my point. Is that there's some delayed reaction and response in certain areas based upon when people download and listen to the show. The Pa Funk, who's in Indiana, he says, Sunday I wanted to send you a little report from the region, an episode behind his crib. He said, 3 days ago I listened to the Rainstick episode, and for the next 2 days we had rain in Highland, Indiana. My hypothesis, he says, is that some of the power of the Rainstick is stored in the audio and then released when someone plays the episode, which would explain why when you shake them on air, you're getting blowback in other places. I think it's completely true. And I know it sounds crazy, but every single time when asked to shake the Rainsticks, it rains where it's supposed to rain. And this was 5 months of drought? All of a sudden, 2 podcasters step in, bada bing, bada boom?
That's what we've done it before, but it also causes problems locally and elsewhere.
Yeah, it does. Now, we had pretty crappy weather. And I just heard all of New York tune out. Yes, okay, they're gone. Staying with the Green New Deal, George Monbiot.
I've just got your joke there.
George Monbiot, who is he just a columnist, or is he?
Well, he's made he's a columnist activist.
Yeah, well, yeah,
and he's a major socialist.
Right, and he writes for The Guardian, and he has covered a lot of the climate crisis and the Green New Deal, and he was interviewed in a talk show in the UK. And I need to play this because this is, I think, a lot of people follow his thinking. A lot of people will follow him. He has a following. He's been around for a long time. I think he's very popular in these types of circles. And here he explains what we really need to do. And it's right down the line, Agenda 21, what we really need to do in order to save the earth.
What would you say people should do, George, if they can do one thing?
I mean, what we have to do is the big structural, political, economic stuff. What we're being told to do is change your cotton buds and all these sort of pathetic micro-consumerist bollocks, which just isn't going to get us anywhere. There are one or two things you can do as a consumer which do make change. Switch to a plant-based diet. That's one. Big change.
No meat!
Animal farming has its massive environmental impact.
Massive!
Another one, stop flying. Yeah, but beyond that, actually everything we have to do is...
First of all, stop eating meat, stop flying. These are number one, number two.
Flying.
Stop flying.
Oh, we should go live in a cave.
Flight shaming.
Mental impact. Another one, stop flying. Yeah, but beyond that, actually everything we have to do is change the system. We have to overthrow this system, which is eating the planet with perpetual growth.
The system is eating the planet!
I mean, since when was GDP a sensible measure of human welfare? And yet everything that governments want to do is to try to boost GDP. Now, people like the OECD or the World Bank say, we're not asking for a lot of growth, just 3% a year. That means doubling in 24 years. Yeah, we're bursting through all the environmental boundaries and screwing the planet already. You want to double it? Double all that? Double it again? Keep doubling it? It's madness. We've got to find a better way of measuring human welfare than perpetual growth. We've got to start ramping down all fossil fuel production and leave fossil fuels in the ground. And at the same time, and this is a nice bit of it, it turns out that through massive rewilding, ecological restoration, you can draw down a load of the carbon dioxide we've already produced. Huge amounts, allowing the forests to come back, the marshes to come back.
So I think this rewilding, that's the get everybody to live in the cities thing. It's like everybody live in the cities so we can keep an eye on you and control you, and then we'll rewild everything else. Rewild it.
Draw down a load of the carbon dioxide we've already produced. Huge amounts, allowing the forests to come back, the marshes to come back, the sea floor to recover from trawling and stuff. They draw down carbon dioxide and can take us a long way towards stopping climate breakdown at the same time as stopping ecological breakdown. There's time, but we can't do it by just pissing around at the margins of the problem. We've got to go straight to the heart of capitalism and overthrow it.
Yes! Woo! Overthrow it! There you go. That's right. Overthrow capitalism and we're done. That's all we need to do, along with stop eating meat and rewild.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy indeed.
Why don't we just move? We're going to talk about this. I might as well move to this clip. This is a guy that was on one of the kind of quasi right-wing talk shows on the radio where they like to get guys on who are kind of nuts. And this guy's been doing this for a long time. This is Les Unite. Mm-hmm. Get it? Les Unite.
That's his real name? Les Unite? No. Okay. All right.
That's his name, though, and that's the name he uses. And he's on the Dory Monson show. And here's the clip.
Climate activist in Portland has come up with a solution for improving the environment. He would like to see the human race eradicated. His name is Les Knight, and he said that he has concluded the best thing for the planet would be a peaceful phase-out of human existence. Well, I knew I had to talk to this guy, so let me welcome Les Knight.
That's such a disc jockey. Well, I knew I had to talk to this guy.
Totally. To the Dory Monson Show. Hello, Les.
Hi, Dory. Glad to hear from you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really, I think eradicate is the wrong word. I know that some news sources are saying that, but a peaceful phase out wouldn't be an eradication. That's what we're trying to avoid.
Okay, so a peaceful phase-out, meaning what? Now, I know that you had, for example, it sounds like you got yourself a vasectomy many years ago because you didn't want to add to population. Is that right?
That is correct, yes. And so many people are telling me lately, you go first. And I'm saying, okay, I did. Now,
holy shit, I just had a great idea. This makes so much sense. Why? Oh, that is the fix to solve climate change. Forced vasectomies.
Yeah, well, hold on. I think you made a philosophical blunder there.
Oh.
Well, I don't think you have to force it.
Yes, I hear you.
You go.
Okay. All right. So tell me about this. Why do you think Earth would be better off if mankind was not a part of it?
Well, everywhere that we have left has flourished. Even Chernobyl, which we can't go to for 24,000 years because of the radiation. All the other species that we had wiped out from there, bears and boars, all sorts of things are coming back.
Why would we care about other animals more than we care about mankind?
Well, it's equal. It doesn't have to be more than. We are causing the sixth great extinction. Hundreds of thousands of species are going extinct because of us. And if we phase ourselves out, we won't voluntarily. We won't go involuntarily in the great collapse that is bound to come if we continue causing extinctions of other species.
Yeah, now there's not going to be any great collapse. I'm one of those people.
We're all going to die.
I think you're right. What a great idea, because there's so many men who are so willing to virtue signal and show that they're on board, not just with women and bringing more equality, but also to save the earth.
Yeah,
I think
chop your nuts off movement.
Well, no, wait. Let's work on a little bit of campaigning here for a second. We need a chant. So,
hey ho!
How about
hey ho ho? Your balls have got to go. Hey ho ho!
Let's do something a little more subtle. Don't be daft. Don't be silly. Save the earth. Snip your willy.
It's getting there.
We'll work on it. Okay.
Well, what this brought me to an interesting little aside. I did a little research. This guy, I looked him up, and he's about 72 or so.
Mm.
And he said he had his...
Okay.
You already know where I'm going.
Well, you think he's shooting blanks at this point?
He had a vasectomy at 24.
Oh, geez.
It's not like he just got a vasectomy.
Oh, but that was... Oh. So he didn't just get one? That's the whole point.
Well, this is what is interesting, because I think there's a lot of guys like this out there. Because if you look at the timeline, when he got his vasectomy, according to my calculation,
that was the population boom, probably.
Exactly. He got his vasectomy around 1974, based on the numbers. And Paul Ehrlich's book came out in 1968, and that was the first salvo. And then the Club of Rome, which I mentioned earlier to you, comes along, and they came along, and they were formed in 1968, and in 1972 they came out with their first report called the Economic Growth or Limits to Growth, and then they came out with the second report, which after Limits to Growth, called Mankind at the Turning Point, and they were promoting the end of the world. If anyone remembers, it's old enough. I'll brief you on this. They were promoting the end of the world in the year 2000 because we're going to run out of resources and we have too many people, and that would be the time to get a vasectomy.
And to be clear,
a lot of
the end of the world population bomb was as big a deal in the media then as climate change is today. Almost
exactly the same.
Yeah, we had less media.
So I want to just to reiterate that this had a lot this notion, which I believe resulted. I think there's a lot of people out there that are gullible. I'm going to use the word gullible.
Yeah, probably.
And so they're in a situation because they're so stupid and gullible that they got clipped in their 20s. And I want to read this little tidbit from it's an abstract from out of the publication Social Biology. Performed and refused vasectomy, a decade of waning popularity and increasing awareness of safety. This is the abstract. Family planning clinics and a random sample of private physicians throughout the U.S. were surveyed in 1972 and 84 to learn the incidence of performed and refused vasectomy and to discern attitudinal change over time toward delayed physical and psychological sequelae related to vasectomy. That means after effects. Data show that after a dramatic rise in this is the key word here.
Yeah.
A dramatic rise in popularity in the early 1970s.
Wow.
Incidence has fallen significantly in the intervening years. And then they tried to figure out why this was, and they said the greater decrease was reported by physicians. They think it was the physician's predilection to practice defensive medicine because you get sued every time somebody's balls swole up. This, to me, is modeled right after the climate crisis, which brought me to the third point, which is a book that should be on our reading list.
Okay.
It came out in 1951 called The True Believer. And I'll read a little bit about it.
Who wrote this? Who's
Eric Hoffer. Eric Hoffer was a kind of a lecturer and a longshoreman. He was called a longshoreman philosopher. He did a whole bunch of books, and they're all very readable. But The True Believer that came out in 1951 used to be standard reading in colleges because there was a problem with kids that were gullible.
Gullible's Travels.
So The True Believer was a correctional tome. It was printed. They stopped printing in 2002, so it was on the market for 21 years, and then they who needs it? But let me just read a couple of things here. Hoffer analyzes, this is from Wiki. Hoffer analyzes and attempts to explain the motives of the various types of personalities that give rise to mass movements, why and how mass movements start, progress, and end, and the similarities between them, whether religious, political, radical, or reactionary. He argues that even when their stated goals or values differ, mass movements are interchangeable. That adherents will often flip from one movement to the other. And we saw that with the climate freeze, the world's going to freeze.
Yep.
Same people.
Yep. Went from a new ice age is coming to we're all going to die in a fiery hell.
And that the motivations for mass movements are interchangeable. Thus, religious, nationalist, and social movements, whether radical or reactionary, tend to attract the same type of followers. Believe in the same way and the same tactics and theoretical tools. They use the same tactics as examples, and he's got some examples. And I should mention just part one, a little synopsis. He says, mass movements begin with a widespread desire for change from discontented people who place their locus of control outside their power and who also have no confidence in existing culture or traditions, feeling their lives are irredeemably spoiled. Oh, you've ruined my childhood.
Exactly.
And believing there is no hope for advancement. Oh, we're all going to die. Or satisfaction as an individual. True believers seek self-renunciation. Thus, such people are ripe to participate in a movement that offers the option of subsuming their individual lives in a larger collective. And that's exactly what we're witnessing with climate change.
I think you've nailed it. I think that is, the clip was not clip of the day worthy, but this analysis certainly was. Certainly was. And it's perfect. It's a perfect time to shame men into doing this. Get the climate back. Snip your sack. There's a million things we can come up with. Push the climate back. It's easy. Snip your sack. There's so many we can do.
Yeah.
And then I snip my sack. Now I'm a believer. We can just go on forever.
Oh, there's songs up the wazoo.
Chris Wilson is
rolling around. You
around.
have to go to snip.
Well, we'll keep our eye on this. If it's not already a thing, I think we should promote this just to be good for the show. We already have the women saying, oh, I'm not going to have children anymore. No mention, by the way, of sterilization or anything. No, just a conscious choice not to have children. But we all know that it's really men who are the problem. One man can spread his demon seed across multiple women. So we know that we have to go to the source of the problem. The problem with climate change is too many people. That's because there are too many men who have active organs.
Yeah, you're checking all the boxes.
That's right. Well, that can almost go in the red book that's going to happen. Can almost go. By the way, that the landmark case with the kids who were suing the government for climate change because they didn't do enough.
Yeah.
Tossed out. didn't even hear it. Just tossed out. No. This is not going to go. I'm sorry for the kids.
Well, if people go out there and read the book, the True Believer, they'll find there's a lot of. He's got some very interesting theories how people they actually turn themselves immature and childlike, which is why you had a leader like Greta, who's a 16-year-old, is ludicrous. The book is fascinating. I kind of left it out of the.
I'm putting it in the show notes. I'm putting it in the show notes. Putting in the show notes right now.
It has to go. It has to be read by everybody.
Yeah, it's in the show notes. nashownotes.com. Now, very interesting. You mentioned a few minutes ago that you had clips from Christiana Amanpour from CNN.
No. I said I saw the show.
Oh, because I also was watching Christiana Amanpour in these past few days, and I did get some clips, which I think are relevant, considering that we now have a dream team for Trump's impeachment trial in the Senate. Even I didn't see this one coming. You have the two guys, Alan Dershowitz, who I respect. I think he's the proto-constitutional lawyer And before he didn't virtue signal against Trump, he was always on CNN, MSNBC. He was everywhere. Everybody hailed him. But then he, said, well, according to the Constitution, everyone hated him, right down to Martha's Vineyard.
Well, I have the PBS intro clip to the Dream Team, if you want to just play that as an intro to what you're going to discuss.
Yeah, let me see.
Impratch. It's under
Impratch.
President Trump's legal defense team for his Senate impeachment trial is taking shape and expanding. It was widely reported that it will include Ken Starr, the former independent counsel whose investigation led to President Clinton's impeachment, and retired Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz. White House counsel Pat Cipollone and Mr. Trump's personal lawyer Jay Sekulow are expected to lead the legal team during oral arguments beginning on Tuesday.
So not only is Dershowitz, but also Ken Starr, both men involved in the slap-on-the-wrist prosecution of Jeffrey Epstein in Florida. You can't make this up. Both of those guys were involved in that deal with the Justice Department and Jeffrey Epstein to get him his little private cell where he could leave 10 hours a day and just go back to sleep, and he had his own wing. Those guys are doing this? Here's Alan Dershowitz explaining what his role will be.
The abuse of power allegation is that request conditioned on money that was federally mandated under the law for a different purpose is the abuse.
I'm sorry, playing it the wrong way around. Here he is talking about his role.
Well, my job next week will be to present the constitutional case against impeachment, a case that I've been presenting on your show in 2 books and 25 articles. I will not deal with the nitty-gritty of the facts and whether there should be
well, facts. Now we can't. Now he means something else, but some media training would be appropriate here, Dersh.
I will not deal with the nitty-gritty of the facts.
Kid, that's all you need. That clip. Just play that over and over again on CNN. That little bit is enough.
And whether there should be witnesses or not, but just from a personal point of view, the Constitution approach, which was suggested in prior impeachments, was always to have the facts presented to the House of Representatives, cross-examination, you then get a report, and the report is what's put on trial. The one thing that's critically clear is that if the Democrats are allowed to call witnesses, President Trump's lawyers will have to be allowed to call witnesses, and they're going to determine initially whether the witnesses are relevant. On CNN all day, they've been saying today that Hunter Biden wouldn't be relevant, but of course he'd be relevant if witnesses were called, because the issue is, was he corrupt? Did the president legitimately have an interest in ferreting out corruption, including the corruption of Hunter Biden? So I think if the Democrats begin to open the door, they will regret it. Also, it will put the trial off for months, maybe even longer than that, because they're going to call Bolton. Bolton will want to testify. The president will invoke executive privilege, and then the Senate will have to take that case to court, and the court will have to decide either in a blanket way or question by question way whether or not Bolton has the right to answer these questions. Remember, he doesn't get to make the decision. It's made by the president in the first instance and then the courts.
So, according to the country's constitutional lawyer, no way. It doesn't even qualify. Of course, he said that on Fox News. He doesn't get to say that anywhere else, I guess.
He kind of mentioned, yes, a lot of this stuff isn't said anywhere else. And he does mention that they're and I'll play this little clip. This is the clip is Professor on Testimonies on Impeachment. This is a professor from NYU who is on PBS. This is not CNN. This is not MSNBC. And he just threw out this little snippet when they were discussing the idea of bringing Hunter Biden on board to testify.
Like atmosphere, maybe the people and who he wants are people like Hunter Biden, who aren't directly relevant to the case. And I think that's part of it, is to try to flip the narrative into being about something else.
How is Hunter Biden not part of the case? I would like someone to answer me this. But all of and I'm talking, including PBS on this, all of the news sources are making the claim that Hunter Biden is not part of the case.
Has nothing to do with it. No, of course not.
And now, if you wanted to contrast to that, listen to this. I have a Rand Paul clip, which is pretty hard to come by.
It's something worth playing. Yeah, certainly.
because he's pretty much kept out of the off the air. But here's Rand Paul talking about the same kind of thing.
Can you think of any company anywhere in the world that would ever pay millions and millions of dollars to somebody that has zero?
Wait, is this Hannity?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's all he can get on.
I got to tell you, I cannot watch that man.
It's very hard.
And I can't listen to him on the radio. It's just, there's something about him. It's just like, oh, you're just beating me with your wet blanket all the time. Stop. It's the way he talks, I guess.
Experience. Would any business ever do that?
Well, it goes to the heart of the matter. The president's being accused of withholding foreign aid, and his argument is, well, we were studying corruption and we wanted to know about corruption in Ukraine, and I think the Bidens are as corrupt as the day is long. No young man who's the son of a politician gets $50,000 a month, who has no experience.
83. I think it was 83.
Working for a Ukrainian oligarch, I mean, for goodness sakes, it smells to high heaven. It smells like corruption, and every day on the mainstream media, they say, oh, there's no there. This has been investigated. There's no corruption. I think the American people don't buy it. But here's the thing is fair. And if they're going to put the president through this, they're going to have witnesses on both sides. But I'll tell you what my fear is that some Republicans are going to vote for witnesses. We'll get those, the ones the Democrats want. And then when we have the votes on bringing witnesses or letting the president choose his witnesses, I think those will fail. Not only because of those Republicans, but because a whole variety of Republicans may not allow the whistleblower, may not allow Biden for one reason or another because they served with him. But if it turns out and the Republican base sees that this looks like only Democrat witnesses and no presidential witnesses, I guarantee that the Republican base will punish those people who set up that kind of scenario.
I can't support any Republican that does that. I can tell you right now.
Yeah, fine. Yes. And the narrative is about to fall apart. Let's shrink some amygdalas here. I got an email from a person who works at a DC lobbying firm, and I've confirmed that with one of the partners of the firm. This doesn't happen often, but the partner actually confirmed this. Now, I want to read this. This is about Lev Parnas. And Lev Parnas is, the guy with the hair stuck on his head, he's bald, but he just thinks it looks good if he sticks those strands, glues them
top. Yes.
So he is described as Rudy Giuliani's crony. He's out there, he's doing deals, he's trying to, they're spying on the ambassador or whatever. This is very important to understand. Les Parnas was a client of the lobbying firm I work for in D.C., and I confirmed that. Here's the important thing to know about Lev. He paid Rudy Giuliani $500,000 for him to copy the business model of LifeLock. And this makes sense because I kept trying to figure out what is this company that he used to donate campaign funds through fraudulently, apparently, or that's under indictment, called Fraud Guarantee. Which, the mainstream laughed about this. Wow, you can't make this stuff up. The guy's a fraudster. He has a company called Fraud Guarantee. No one actually looks into it. This is true. The guy tried to create LifeLock, which is a great company who will email you from time to time and say, oh, you better keep your subscription up for $25 a month. We found your information on the dark web. You don't want any. I'm not kidding. The keeper,
I know that's
the keeper left it because she had LifeLock and she left it. Because I said, I don't want all my shit in a single point of failure. And ever since she left it, she's getting all these threatening emails. Oh, we found you on the dark web. There's information about you on the dark web. Sign up now to get off the dark web. So Giuliani was helping him, advising him, recreate the LifeLock business model. So Rudy Giuliani was working for him, not the other way around. And this guy, the trouble he got into was for bribing local officials for pot licenses. So the accusation from the lobbying firm employee is he's just doing this to raise his own profile. His own political profile, maybe, but certainly profile in America.
Too.
Sorry?
Avenatti, too.
It's completely an Avenatti story, except Avenatti didn't stick the hair on his head. He went full bald. Enter Christiana Anandpur. she does an interview with the foreign minister of Ukraine, Vadim Pristaiko. This is the Secretary of State. This is the foreign minister. This is the guy who deals with everything with other countries. He deals with the United States State Department, and he's been in the inner circle of Zelensky since before he got elected and throughout his entire, first year in office. Christiana Amanpour is so and the guy's I think it was actually in D.C., at the embassy. It's an outside shot, and he's just doing this interview. He has business in Washington, D.C., because that's what foreign ministers do. Christiana Amanpour is so hell-bent on getting him to admit about this quid pro quo, and it's so obvious that Lev Parnas, he's the missing link in everything. We can finally get rid of the president.
Orange man bad.
But she can't make it happen, and her valiant efforts are well appreciated. But this clip, which ran on CNN International, has not aired once on CNN in the U.S. And this is one of the main guys who would know exactly what's happening. He is, just like Hillary Clinton was a sidekick to Barack Obama when she was Secretary of State. The guy was on the call. And I have a couple of clips from this interview.
Mr. Foreign Minister, let me ask you the questions that everybody is talking about right now. Lev Parnas, a crony of...
She even says a crony. Isn't that interesting how she sets that up?
Really?
Now,
Dynamite.
Lev Parnas, a crony of Rudy Giuliani, who is the president's personal lawyer, has now spoken out, as you know, and he has said several things, mostly that he did carry a very explicit message from the president via Rudy Giuliani that there would need to be a quid pro quo if Ukraine was going to continue getting any kind of assistance, financial, military, political, whatever kind of assistance. And furthermore, he has now said that he is spoken to key officials within President Zelensky's circle. Since you are one of those, and you were when this happened, did you get that message from Lev Parnas?
Now, you have to kind of get into the guy's speech pattern because he's obviously not a native English speaker. His English is impeccable, but it has a heavy accent and it's a little jerky. But the question is very clear and obvious.
It's all over Ukrainian media as well today and yesterday. And strangely enough, my name was not mentioned, although I'm Minister of Foreign Affairs. And frankly, I never spoke with this individual. And again, frankly, I don't trust any word he is now saying. The assistance which he is referring to was reviewed on each and every year annually, at least twice, and half a year at the end of the year. So we knew that this assistance is to be reviewed. Sometimes it would be cut because of some political understanding of what is to be done in Ukraine, sometimes being erased, which is now we're observing. At the end of the year, we would receive even more than it was planned. I understand that this individual, which I don't know personally, but he is now trying to save his own case. And I don't trust what he's saying. And I was so tired of these questions about our role in impeachment. What we are trying to tell Americans that we are so happy to have bilateral support from both parties, and we will be happy to have it as well.
So I know you'll get into it as you listen to him, but he's saying, no, this is very normal. It's very normal. Every 6 months we adjust. We talk to the State Department, talk to our counterparts. Sometimes things have to be adjusted down. We have to do certain things, all in normal course of business. This Lev Parnas guy, not quite sure what he is. He seems he has his own problems. As he said, he's fighting for his own case. The guy, when he did the interview with Rachel Maddow, had a GPS tracker on his ankle because he's on bail. He's not allowed to leave the country, etc. But that doesn't work for Christiana Amanpour. Let's make sure.
You say that your name hasn't been mentioned public. I just want to make sure that you will never receive this kind of message, verbally or otherwise, from anybody connected with Rudolph Giuliani or representing the president.
Just to make sure you didn't, trick me and someone else told you there was a quid pro quo. Are you really sure?
I never met Rudy. I never met this Parnas and all other name mentioned. I believe that people are now trying to raise their political importance. I never had the chance, and frankly, we don't need this channels. Our channels of communication with Americans are well established. If some of the unofficial contacts through the advisories, that's why advisories for. We took the official formal part. We were happy with the conversation. I was at all the meetings, and the conversation is a telephone on the person with President Trump. And I can tell you with all certainty that he was never mentioned that we have to do something. And President Zelensky was always telling him that whatever this message and the lesson you were teaching us all these 30 years of our independence, that it should be rule of law and should be independent judiciary and prosecutor general from the president, we finally got the message. We are not going to intervene because of some political gains. We told him, if you have information, send it through the official channels, which is prosecutor general's office. You have your prosecutor general, we have ours. Let them talk at rate. If anything to be investigated, let's investigate this.
Again, we understand there are always things that are political or things that need to be done, for particularly in the arena of corruption in Ukraine. We understand sometimes all or parts of the funds are held, withheld, delayed because we have to do something. Very normal course of business. Just send us the changes. Whatever you need, we'll get right on it. But didn't the president get all pissed off and not attend the inauguration because there was no formal announcement of investigating the Bidens?
Clearly, the United States had made it clear that either the president or the vice president was going to come to President Zelensky's inauguration. And this, we are told, also was mentioned by either Lev Parnas, Rudy Giuliani, or a number of people who they say were carrying message to your president. It didn't happen, as you very well know. They didn't come to the inauguration.
I can tell you why. We had some blame can be on our side because we had to do it in a very fast way. President Zelensky wanted to leave the parliament free from his new presidency, and we have just a couple of days to make it legal. We've been limited by ourselves by time, so we gave quite a short notice to all the nations. And in our case, in the American case, Secretary Perry came. We believe that we would have somebody else if we want to, if we give more time for the foreign delegations.
So now he could be covering, that would be the one view of this, but what he's saying, and this is the kind of like a number two guy in the country. No, we made the decision, a couple days before. It's not easy to move the president or vice president. If we had really wanted that level to show up, we would have planned it differently. We got Secretary Perry, and then it was Secretary of Energy. We feel that was pretty appropriate. Okay, one more time. This can't be true. What about that ambassador, Sunderland? He clearly said quid pro quo. This can't be true.
Okay, so let's just be perfectly clear, Mr. Foreign Minister. Even the president's own ambassador to the EU, Sondland, who was tasked with the Ukrainian brief, says that there was a quid pro quo. Was there a quid pro quo as far as you know? And were you surprised when you did actually hear that military aid was being suspended?
I know personally Ambassador Sondland, and I have to again remind you that he was political appointee. He was not on the formal side either of the State Department. He was also close to the circles which were sort of trying to get in their own business-like way. Maybe he was bringing a message, but if you read even his statement, he never talked to me, although I was the advisor and then Minister of Foreign Affairs, about any pre-POCWA or any unofficial channels or ways of what we can do to get closer to President Trump. No, he was talking to some people who believed was instrumental at that time. I personally see that we are okay with the support we have right now, and we don't need, sorry to be blunt, and we don't need this unofficial support. It's not on at the level when we have with the Americans already. We can have the support, and if we are told that the military assistance can be affected by some lack of reform, this is a normal conversation we had with Americans so many times before. And during this particular year you're describing right now, we had a couple of times to explain to members of Congress that we understand that the assistance is not coming from the sky. It is connected to some reforms we have to do, to changes, and we were doing. So it was not about political gains on any side. We heard this assistance is important to us. We told them that it is important, and it is connected to some reforms which we were doing.
And that was it. She could not beat it out of him. And this is, as far as I understand, kind of the crux of this abuse of power which we now know is not constitutional impeachment article.
Well, I mean, I know you slipped into my subconscious the idea of clip of the day.
No. These clips are difficult.
I would give you clip of the day for this because it's really an outstanding clip and an unbelievable catch. But because that guy is so difficult to listen to,
it's hard
I'm going to give you a borderline.
Okay, and I'll accept the borderline. It's completely fair.
Clip of the day.
But that is the whole... Now, it's just the foreign minister. We also have the actual president saying, no, there's no pressure. Now, they could be lying that, Trump may have a gun to their head behind the scenes. I don't know.
Seems unlikely. The Ukrainians, if anyone's got a gun, it's them.
Yeah. So, to me, that just kind of shuts it all down. It's like, I'm not sure what you're actually going to talk about. But it seems like this is all. We're moving from.
This is the Mueller report redux.
It is.
I mean, it's the same kind of thing. A bunch of I had a lunch with one of the Libjos.
Oh my goodness! This should have been top of the show.
Well, what we had top of the show was better, and bringing in the true believer, I think, epitomized the Libjo.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fine conversation. We talked about normally. And then at the very end, when Trump was mentioned, this is why I was listening to you on the bankers thing, because everyone was, no one's saying anything about Trump, because you never triggered him. It took me a while, but I finally triggered him.
Oh, you had to trigger him. Interesting.
And you didn't do that.
No. Well, hello, I was a guest.
Yeah, I know you shouldn't either. I would say, unless you want you want Tina to be irked for a couple of weeks. You didn't want to trigger him.
No.
Because if you triggered him and you got what I got, oh my God. Here's a couple of little tidbits. Okay. One, Lev is the most important guy ever.
Woohoo! Ever. I mean, more important than who was the last most important guy? I forgot who was.
I don't know, Mueller,
whatever,
or Cohen, or
Cohen, Avenatti, Cohen. Yeah, exactly.
All important. All the same.
Yeah, it's going to flip.
All the same. The devil. This guy, Trump, is done. The Democrats are going to get both the House and the Senate in 2020, and then if he's still in office somehow, because it's a possibility
they'll hang him.
That Trump, as a solo act, which has never happened. I've watched this, and you have too. The president doesn't come in and then lose nobody votes for a Republican president and then votes a Democratic ticket. They just don't do it.
No.
But no, that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
And then because the
did you say, hold on, let me put that in the red book? Did you do that?
I was writing down. I didn't have anything to write on, but I memorized most of it because there's bets available. Everybody's going to jail. Everybody who's worked with Trump so far has gone to jail. I don't know who that is.
Did the topic of thousands of sealed indictments come up?
By me, I said I was just thinking he's just a reflection of the other crazy side of things. Yeah. But he said Barr is
going to jail.
Headed for jail.
Hey, yeah. Now, is this the
Giuliani?
Jail.
But Barr, jail. Barr's the worst, by the way, according to these guys. Now, I don't know where they're getting this, but somehow Barr has turned into this, great guy, to this horrible person that's going to jail.
Did they mention any kind of charge?
Vague. Corruption. Everybody's corrupt. The whole operation, this is the most. And then what was funny about this conversation was first he starts off with, and he actually had a better list than I had at the top of my head of Trump's accomplishments. He had, pretty much every one of them. And that people would say, well, here's what Trump's done. And he had them all.
Okay.
And the reason that Trump has accomplished what he has is just by sheer luck.
Oh, it was really the process of the government that made it all work.
Yeah. And but he's doomed. He's done.
So that's very similar to the opportunity zone. Like, oh no, that's just Trump happened to be there that happened.
Yeah. Coinky ding. So anyway, so I got a kick out of it.
That was it? That was the only
The problem is that this is what brought me, by the way, this is what brought me around to the idea. This was he's incredulous. He won't listen to anything, and he won't listen to anything other than what his sources are, which he won't tell me. I told him what they were: CNN, MSNBC, because he's he's the MSNBC guy, New York Times for sure, and the Washington Post. Period. That's your 4 sources of information for most of these people.
Wow.
And this is why this got me to thinking about the gullibility factor. These people, and there's a lot of them, and it really concerns me that they're just hook, line, and sinker. They're so gullible that they believe this stuff without any critical thought whatsoever, and they don't even care to hear anything opposite of whatever they bought into. And I would put this on the climate science people, the climate crisis people, the people that were into the new ice age, and the people that got clipped when they were in their 20s. They're gullible, and my friends are gullible.
Gullible's travels. Man, oh man, oh man. And this was the professor?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, he's getting it from both ends, so to speak. I mean, he's getting it from the academia and from Rachel. Rachel Maddow. I love that. That's it, because it's literally the same thinking on both sides. They're all going to jail. They're all corrupt.
It's a mirror image.
It is complete. It's just kind of good, because when you disturb one,
for us,
well, don't give away the secrets of the show.
It's in the middle.
If you change something on one side, you may see a complete and equal change on the other side.
Matter and antimatter.
Yes.
We're dealing with
here. Oh, now we're deep. Wow.
It's somewhat disappointing, because it's like you think people would try to think for themselves a little bit, but it's just litany. It's just bang, 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 and I'm almost like I might as well have Rob Reiner at the table.
Man, talk about being good for the show. That's. Oh, by the way,
I had Rob Reiner as a buddy.
If I could ask people friendly, would you please refrain from filling out online forms for people to be a guest on the No Agenda show? It's very embarrassing to the show. Twice, maybe 3 times a week, I get an email from an author, from someone who has another podcast, from, like, hi, we want you on the No Agenda show. And then, they sign it Adam Curry, adam@curry.com. Ha, 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 ha. So then I have to explain, no, this is just some overzealous fan, I guess. We don't have.
Or some joker, one of the show haters.
But it's like people subscribing me to the idiotic newsletters. Luckily, most of them, check before they
a lot of that's
auto subscribe. And I believe you. Did you just recently do a new one? Just the other day?
No, I haven't for a while.
A lot of that's me. Thanks, bud. But for guests, it's just rude, and it wastes time, and you're not funny, and we don't have guests. So stop it. Don't do it. Maybe you thought you were helping, but you're not.
I don't think they thought they were helping. It's just a form of harassment.
Could be. By the way, the transmission of the articles of impeachment was 28 days, 30 days?
Yeah.
I'm now thinking, now that I've had a good look at these pens, these are Mont Blanc pens.
Oh, they're Mont Blancs?
With the gold.
Talk about a waste of the taxpayers' money.
They're about. Now, she got them. They're engraved with Nancy Pelosi's signature.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think they had to wait for the pens to get delivered.
Wow.
What else could it be? I mean, they had 30 of these pens. They're probably about $3,000 each. So that's not bad. $90,000.
You think they were that expensive? I mean, I was thinking more like maybe a grand.
I looked at Mont Blanc pens, and the one that resembles it. I don't see the exact pen in their lineup, so maybe even a total custom job for all I know. But the one that looks like the most is $3,000.
$3,000? That's engraved. That's including engraving.
That's before engraving.
What?
Yes. Mont Blanc pens are not cheap. I mean, You can
if I had gotten that pen as the souvenir, I mean, I'm sure they're going to all end up in a little display case, but I'd just use it if it was that good of a pen.
Some lucite, bake it in some lucite. Yeah, it's they may have at least a week for those pens. She was really hammering on the date, it being the December 18th, and this was important. So I think she had that date on the pen. It's engraved with her signature.
The date's on the pen?
Yes, the date of the impeachment.
Oh, the date of the impeachment, not the date of the transfer.
No, the date of the impeachment, which is her whole thing. She wants it December 18th. She wants it to be remembered. The school children need to remember this. She did Paul Revere nursery rhyme.
Yeah, Dad lives in infamy. She's not going to get anything out of this. This is going nowhere for her.
Well,
she thinks she's going to be famous, in the history books.
In her mind, she's there already.
She will be remembered as the first female Speaker of the House. Mm-hmm. That's a kind of a big deal, but I doubt you could name me the Speaker of the House during the Roosevelt administration, which probably was a pretty secure situation. Can you? No, I can't either. I don't know who it was.
No.
Who was the Speaker of the House during Truman? I don't know.
And again, people don't seem to care anymore. They're moving on with their lives. They'll just watch Rachel and.
You think that, but then when I got the triggering going, because
that's true.
Boom. Next thing you know, corruption and horrible person, orange man bad. Everyone's going to jail. Unbelievable.
All right, I'll try some triggering next time, but I have to set this. It's not going to be a birthday.
You better do it on an individual basis. Because if you did it in a large group, then
it could trigger each other. It could be an explosion. The whole hotel could have gone up in smoke.
Yeah. It's like a nuke.
With that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, the man who put the C in vasectomy, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam J. C. Curry, or something.
What?
J.
Really? Mm-hmm. C.
Adam Clark. Adam Clark.
Yes.
Clark Curry. Adam Clark Curry. Would you sound like a paper company? In the morning to you, in the morning to all the ships at sea and the boots on the ground, the feet in the air. The subs in the water. And all the dames and knights out there.
And in the morning to the trolls who are always hanging out at noagendastream.com. Let's see how many trolls we have there today. We have a little troll counter. 1,240. Hello, trolls. All looking beautiful. All the same height. They are there to listen to the show live. We have a number of shows on noagendastream.com which go live. But we also roll them out. Just the latest podcast episodes. It's 24 hours a day. You log in, you listen. It's great for in the car, great for on the go. And you can enter the chat room, or it's kind of the troll room. And you can hang out with people, discuss, find out more, and troll. That's one of the main features is we encourage the trolling. NoAgendaStream.com. Also in the morning to the artist who brought us the artwork for episode 1208. The title of that was Weeping Angels. And this was Nick the Rat, who's back, who has done it once again.
We got a lot of compliments for this art.
You said it was great. I've never watched Grommet and Walnut, whatever. So this was not for me. I deferred to you, and I think we made a good choice.
We couldn't find anything else that you liked.
Yeah, that's true.
And you didn't like this piece either.
No, I was it doesn't really mean anything to me, but I deferred. I think I said...
Yeah, no, you did. I give you that. You deferred to me, and I assured you that it was a funny piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I could hear you rolling your eyes.
It's funny. It's a complaint I get at home, too.
And you rolled your eyes, and then you said, okay, well, we'll give it a shot. Because what you said, what you convinced you finally was that it jumped off the page.
Yeah, it popped off the page. It was the only one that popped. Always looking for pops.
But, it was a funny piece. That was Amy Klobuchar as a Wallace and Gromit character.
And people, and the compliments were abundant. So it was a good choice, good piece by Nick. We thank all the artists who were always in friendly competition. No, it's friendly. It's friendly. Yeah. They're always thanking each other on Twitter, like, congratulations.
Douchebag.
NoAgendaArtGenerator.com is where you can see all the submissions. There's a lot there. There's 10 times as much art as we could ever use, but it's therefore incredibly fun to look at. It is also used on mugs, T-shirts, hoodies, etc. at noagendashop.com, where the artist, the shop, and the show benefit. It's used in newsletters, and you are welcome to jump into the fray. NoAgendaArtGenerator.com, free to enter, free to play. Woohoo!
So we got a pretty good showing. All in the last minute, it was kind of interesting.
I know. Eric sent me a Redux spreadsheet. He said, I guess some stuff came in that...
No, well, there was a couple of things that came in late, but let's go over what we have.
Okay.
Seronimus is at the top of the list, but he comes in every...
Seronimus of Dogpatch and Lower Slobovia.
Right. And he writes, he came in with one of his coded numbers, 1232. $1,232.
First of all, thank you, Seronimus. And now for the decoding of the number and the note.
Well, the note, a couple of things. This is not a real one of his normal notes. This is a note because he's established a fund for new daming.
Right.
Thanks for all the producers that make the best source of news in the known universe. The value from this show continues to be immeasurable to me. My effort for Dame Lady support seemed too complicated. Now, then he says this, please credit the women that donated to show 1200. Existing dames are not included in this promotion is to add new roundtable members. So I don't know what he means by this.
So he says for episode, if I understand him correctly, episode 1200 female donors receive his fund.
Is that this particular go around?
So is that equally
that
distributed?
Includes Brittany, Allison, Olga, Sherry, Lindsay, Cassidy, Jennifer. There's a bunch of them.
Oh, he wrote them down, or you looked them up?
I looked them up.
Uh-huh.
To simplify this promotion, any woman that donates at least double nickels on the dime for this show and the previous show will share equally in the donation credit toward their totals.
Okay.
So this has to be divided up. I rely on you two to determine the divisor, and identify them. The troll room can confirm things if you like.
I knew it was going to be too easy. He's finally come around and has decided he wants to make us work.
It's always, when does that not happen?
We have to. Okay. And by the way, we are passing this off to Eric, right, for him to figure out?
He's not going to do it.
Well, of course,
charge us more.
Of course, we can do this
separately. Okay, now he has this thing here. He wants me to. He changes his mind about this part, but I'm going to just kind of summarize. He apparently Renee DuPont in show 1206 is the woman who had the courage. She had the courage, the way he puts it, to hope she would share in the Dame Drive promotion. I thought it was just a smart move on her part because she came out and said, "Hey,
yeah."
So he's going to give her an Insta Dame.
Wow.
When she comes up with a Dame Lady title. And so there's another $1,000 in abeyance, which is not on this donation.
Not included in the original promotion.
No, it's not included in this donation.
Okay.
It's part of the original promotion.
All right. I'm very confused.
I know, I am too, but I've got kind of a handle on it. But Renee, if she gets a hold of us, if she's listening, and she should be listening if she's so sincere, and if she's not, and she can condemn me for using the word "so," she'll get in touch with us and give us a title, and then we'll insta-dame her at some later event. Okay. Producer note, he writes.
All right.
Being on a non-U.S. commercial carrier over a country's airspace when the country launches missiles can be disruptive to air travel.
You may experience some discomfort during flight.
Then he says, as he finishes off, I hope Yum Yum keeps his missiles in his pants during my visit next month.
What? He's going to North Korea? Oh my gosh, this is fantastic.
The mystery.
Oh.
Now, no jingles, no karma. So we don't know. So anyway, that's where we stand.
I'd like a souvenir. I'm thinking a poster. That's a really bad joke.
So all the women who donate the show 1,200, and there's at least 12 of you, you can drop $100 into your account.
Nice.
That's the way I see it.
Makes sense. Now, okay, so now, is there any other work that needs to be done in the show notes? Or
No, we're good. We're good to go.
We're good? Well, he's truly the patron. I know he doesn't want any titles. He doesn't want us to call him anything other than Hieronymus of Dogpatch and Lower Slobovia. But what a fascinating guy. Or gal.
Yeah,
we don't even know if it's a man or a woman, quite honestly.
We know it's a man.
Oh, we
he
do?
talks about his wife a lot.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. And this is a new twist to the value for value model.
Yes.
We kind of understand
a game show. And you get a car. And you get a car.
Yes. Sir Oprah of Dogpatch and Lower Slobovia. Well, thank you very much, Hieronymus. It is above and beyond and incredibly appreciated and welcome, and it helps big time. And
he's followed up by Allison. Yes?
I was going to give him a karma.
No, he wants no jingles, no karma. That's what he specifically says.
Well,
and I think it may, I think he doesn't want, he literally doesn't want karma.
Okay. Well, have a fun trip in NOCO. We cannot wait to hear how it was. And
we want to report.
I'm pretty sure that after we smoked, what's his name? Soleimani. I'm pretty sure Rocket Man has piped down a little bit. He's like, that could hurt.
Allison Ostrander comes in next from Manor, Texas. And he comes in he's a show guy. He's 1209 is what he comes in with.
Wow. A show number. Haven't had that in a while, of course.
Noticeably,
the higher they go. Yeah. Wow.
What? He says $1,000 to make executive producer and Instanite for my Tony the Keeper, who was the one who hit me in the mouth over 10 years ago. Listening to the podcast, I don't know how Eric's got this listed, but is there Instanite Tony the Keeper?
Yeah, hold on. I'm checking.
I'm pretty sure it's on there.
I think so. Yes, Tony the Keeper is...
Listening to the podcast has become almost like church in our house as we look forward to listening to the live episodes together on Sundays.
Oh, how nice.
$200 is on there for a newest human resource to get her on the producer list. Okay, we have to put her on the producer list, I guess.
Okay.
And to be one of the youngest producers of the No Agenda, just shy of 4 months, well on her way to be one of the youngest knights. Dames, I guess.
Probably, yeah.
No name given, so that makes it rough for us to put her on the producer list, but okay. G for or $9 for myself, so I can officially be de-douched.
You've been de-douched.
And if Adam has not already jumped the gun, where did that phrase comes from?
That is...
there's got to be a gun on the ground, you jump it?
No, that's the starter gun. The starter gun, you jump the gun.
Oh, yes, duh. I would like to ask for 3 de-douchings, please.
Oh.
I hope to work towards my own knighthood on our next big donation. You don't need 3 de-douchings is no.
No, come on, I'm going to do them.
You've been de-douched.
Nothing wrong with that. One more.
You've been de-douched.
I mean, my God, man. We're always talking about no de-douchings unless requested. Now there's a request for 3 and you want to thwart that request? No. What are you, like Trump in Ukraine? What's wrong with you?
Also like to ask for jingles now in case it takes a second to find. He's already produced these. But
Yeah,
it's George Clooney is the spy. Bugs. Bomb them. And it's going to be amazing. Jobs over our karma for all. And then all of the jingles have become common household lingo for us. Those that... Yeah, it's kind of funny.
It's true. It's so true.
It's true. That's the only we still use at the dinner table. Those that no agenda together stay together, and that karma has certainly helped with my job as well as your excellent analysis. I'm an educational options trader.
Oh.
An educator options trader,
i.e., high school teacher who wants to make money and trades options at night.
And I oftentimes, when I pair your analysis of global events with my technicals, it keeps my accounting profitable. Just recently,
not accounting, trading account, the account.
Yeah,
we're helping her trade.
Well, that's what we do. Just recently with the Iran situation after your expert coverage, along with the charts, I decided to stay bullish in my account as colleagues discussed the mainstream media and were putting on hedges. I stayed the course, needless to say. I went into this holiday weekend with nice gains in my account, and I feel the need to share the love. Oh, that's where we got the 1209.
Yes, of course. No, I love hearing that.
Keep people from freaking out. Oh my God, the world's it's gonna be World War III.
Pretty much that.
George Clooney is a spy.
Bomb them, and bomb them again.
Oh my God, that is amazing! Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Okay, I got to go to the emails because Neville, I thought I printed his mail out, and I may have, but to be honest about it, digging through the...
You know what that means. Whenever John has to go to the mail, it's not just any old mail. It's not Outlook. It's not Eudora or anything like that. No. It's not Firebird or something like that. No. It is the original, the only email program that guaranteed to work for any type of mail, and he never gets no spam. Ladies and gentlemen, John C. Dvorak is going to get your email. He's retrieving it from the only place that matters.
This is actually $909.94.
Whoa.
Australian.
Wow, how sad is that?
It's pretty bad. But it's the rain.
It's the rain.
Oh, yeah. No, this is the note I read earlier. This is Neville's note.
Oh, okay, we'll read it again.
Yeah, thanks for the show. It keeps me entertained. You have to laugh or cry, as most politicians of both our countries focus on anything as long as it's not for the benefit of the voters. Thanks for the rain. It's been a big help to Australia and not just NSW. The climate change faith followers has attacked our prime minister for the fires, as he does not do enough to change the climate crisis, as we read earlier.
Yes.
They would not recognize most fires are started by people and often on purpose by some by accident. Anyway, better go and prepare, as heaven forbid it's summer in Australia likely to warm up again. And he would like It's True as his jingle, and I think we should give him a karma.
Okay.
That's true. You've got karma.
By the way, I think the Keeper and I are going to make it happen this year. September or October, we're going to do Australia and New Zealand.
Good.
Yeah.
Be fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Sir Mike in Las Vegas, $333.34. Need some health karma for my mother in the hospital. Also some karma for my 2 human resources in college. 2 at the same time. What was I thinking?
You've got karma.
There you go. That should help.
Dude named Ralph in Miami, Florida, 33333. Dear John and Adam, thank you for the work you do to bring us the best podcast in the universe on both Sundays every week. It's true. It's in the Mueller report. Dude named Ralph in Miami.
Thank you very much. Dude named Ralph. Nice numbers. The quad threes.
In Bellingham, Washington. He drops to associate executive producer for $273.77. He wrote a note in because he sent in a check. Nice letterhead. ITM in the accompanying submission of value for value received. By and large, I've met the qualifications to join those most accomplished Knights of the Round Table. And he's got if appropriate, I like the title of Knight of Neurogenesis. It's on there.
It is.
No need for anything in addition to the provisions. They seem to be more than adequate. I'll skip the gerbils. Please send a shout out to Sir Nathan. What?
No gerbils? Okay, I'll take the gerbils off the table.
No gerbils.
No ginger ale, no gerbils. Okay, scrap.
Please send a shout out to Sir Nathan Lee and Ryan DeBlanc for organizing the Boston meetup.
Hello.
There I met a young nuclear engineer. Given the opportunity and slander that's been directed at that industry, I was surprised that there were young nuclear engineers.
Right? Yeah, no kidding. We have
had a most informative discussion with him and look forward to future meetups. Your ongoing encouragement of meetups is consistent with the enlightened thinking you've brought to the No Agenda Show for over a decade. Keep it up.
We have 2 meetup reports for this show, actually.
Yeah. Jingle requests. I should have read these at the beginning so you could do them. But, Reverend Al getting jitty. The Putin Don't Worry, Be Happy. And a little girl, boom shakalaka.
Okay, so it's Worry, Be Happy, and little girl, boom shakalaka.
And getting jitty.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I have on the getting jitty, but we'll see.
The GOP infighting is escalating. Politico says Democrats are outright jitty. Happy to...
Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy.
Dingo, boom, boom, chakalaka.
Oh, that's a different one.
Chakalaka, boom, boom.
Hold on.
You've got karma.
Let me find it. It's Nick's Kid, I think is what we're looking for. This one.
Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka.
There we go. Fulfilled. Yeah. Okay.
That's one of the best ones, by the way.
Yeah, it's the kids love it.
Omega Project, $250. $250 to put a hit on the chimp.
MailChimp.
All right.
Yeah. That's one of our
Adam, I was sitting
microservices architect. One of our microservices architecture elements, man. We're not going to put a hit out on the MailChimp.
Yeah. At Omega Project. That's all he says.
That's it?
Well, he's from Omega Project, so he's put Omega. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Omega Project.
Barbara Punwitz in Norwood, Pennsylvania, 20202. Dear John and Adam, I was hit in the mouth by my boss.
Wow. That's nice.
Tom and I, a few months ago, I started being my boss. Maybe Thomas was just talking about it. Tom and I, a few months ago, started listening. It became regular listeners. Since this is my first donation, please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
I would also like a Trump jobs karma and an F cancer for my mill.
Yeah, I don't and it's capital letters MIL. Mother-in-law. Figured it out. Hello. Mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law. Those who was just diagnosed, unfortunately, with stage 4 melanoma. Ouch.
Jeez.
This is the worst. Sorry for another request, but I would love it. It's true, and China is a-hole. Or asshole. Your podcast is better than music to listen to while on the treadmill. No, that's an interesting. It probably is.
Yeah.
It keeps me going and therefore excellent for my mind and body. Thanks for all you do. The way you explain the show has helped me latch on and enjoy it and not feel like an outsider. Barbara Ponwitz.
That's true.
China is asshole.
You've got karma.
All right. Thank you, Barbara, and F cancer for your MIL there. Yeah.
Damn it. I had these. I was really well organized.
We have Sir Antonio.
No. I got that part. I'm looking ahead. I'll read this. Sir Antonio, Madrid, $200. He's in Spain, in Madrid. And we got a number of Madrid listeners. I'd like to go to visit Madrid again. We go have some fun. Madrid is terrific. Celebrating 1 year in my new job, thanks to the best podcast in the universe. Nancy Trump jobs karma works.
Okay.
It's interesting. Did you give I'm sorry, because I was digging around. Did you give Barbara a Trump karma?
Trump karma? No.
She said she wanted a Trump's jobs karma.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I only did an F cancer, so we'll do a Trump jobs karma. Here we go.
Jobs.
You've got karma.
I don't even know where that one came from. Anyway, the Trump Nancy karma worked apparently for Sir Antonio.
Good.
Sir Hashtag Null and Sir Dragonheart. Now, this is an interesting donation. This is what I was fishing around for. It was a card.
No, wait a minute. No, wait. Whoa. Hold on a second. I understand you're moving around here, but Sir Antonio wanted a Nancy Trump jobs karma, or not?
No, he didn't.
Oh, he just said it works. Okay.
No, he just mentioned that it worked.
All right, meeting adjourned.
And he got a good job with that karma.
So happy for him.
I noticed that he had a longer note. I don't know why it was not in here. Sir #Nolan, Sir Dragonheart. This is our last donation. They're in Beverly Hills.
Oh.
Now, this actually came in, and I don't know why, but it came in as 2 separate donations, but then it wouldn't qualify for anything. So I combined them.
Oh, okay. To make the note readable and at the
so I can
associate.
read the note, and it's $100 from each one of them.
Okay.
In 2 separate postal mail orders, or money orders. Dear Adam and John, please find our donations of the best podcast in the universe enclosed and noted below. The show continues to be salient, timely, and it's reassuring to know that we have fellow like minds out there in the wilderness of insanity. Is that right?
Wilderness of insanity.
A little anecdote regarding the tea dropping craze, which I believe you may have touched upon a few shows back. When I was growing up, you could always tell when someone was not from my hometown when they pronounced it. Natives always said Toronto, while visitors forced the second T as in Toronto.
Toronto. Yeah, I would say it. I think there are some words I've noticed, and people have pointed out that even I drop some T's, but it's a little different than important. Yeah,
it's different than dropping a T in something. Yes, I agree with you. What you just said.
Yeah.
Almost the reverse of what is happening now, and I imagine if trends continue, that poor second T may be lost forever. Okay, well,
poor second T.
Toronto.
Yeah.
I've been to Toronto.
I've been to,
but I think the T is in there. Toronto.
It's just subtle. I get Toronto. Hey, Toronto.
That's our executive producer and associate executive producer list for show 1209. I want to thank each and every one of them for keeping the show alive.
And especially these execs and associate execs, because this is really what keeps us going. And you get a Seronimus of Dogpatch who is paying it forward, sharing the love for the Dame Drive. That's highly appreciated. And, this is truly a value for value network. I mean, and I just want to go back to Allison's note. Was it Allison? Yeah, Allison, who is an educator by day, options trader by night, listens to the show, felt comfortable with our analysis, no World War III coming. This is all just, a big PR move on both sides, a lot of flag tweeting back and forth. She didn't go in for the hedge. It's not like she invested in something and made $1 billion, but she didn't spend money on a downside because she felt comfortable with the analysis, made the money, and then sends that value back onto the show. I mean, it could not be a better example of how it works for certain people. It can work for anybody in multiple ways.
We keep people sane.
It really
is true. You can easily go off the deep end and think some crazy stuff's going to happen and then start hedging because you're fearful, but it's a mistake.
In this case, certainly. Absolutely. Another way y'all can help, I did want to mention, is subscribe to the No Agenda animated channel. No Agenda. We are very close to the magic 5,000 number, and I know a lot of you don't have Google accounts, so no YouTube, and it's for very good reason, and I support that. But then, I'm sure you have a friend or a colleague or someone in the cubicle next to you. You can go subscribe them to the show. We need to get to that 5,000 number so the algos kick in so we can finally exit with our Netflix series. So that would be highly appreciated. And thank you again, executive producers and associate executive producers, for producing episode 1209 of the best podcast in the universe. We have more people to thank. Meetup reports coming in the second half of show, and we will be here again on Thursday. If you'd like to support us, go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
And I think that you could use a lot of the information to be very lucky in business.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka.
Shut up, slave.
Okie dokie.
Bars going down. Bars going down.
What's going? Oh, bars going down. Oh! I got to play something fun for you. This is fun. We're going back to the debate, and this is the hot mic clip that CNN released. So we had Bernie and Elizabeth Warren going at the end, and you called me a liar on national television, and you couldn't hear that during the original debate at the end. You could just see Bernie extending his hand. Liz Warren's pissed off. There's clearly something going on. Tom Steyer standing there like a dope. And just listen to the audio.
The Steyer thing is still the key to this whole thing to me.
Let's listen to the audio again.
I think a liar on national TV. What? I think you called me a liar on national TV.
Let's not do it right now. You want to have that discussion? We'll have that discussion. You called me. You told me. All right, let's not do it now.
I don't want to get in the middle. I just want to say hi, Bernie.
Yeah, okay.
All right, it's a Steyer. Now, what was very interesting is that this was obviously, we certainly deconstructed it to be a move on CNN's part to push Bernie out. That was the whole argument about could a woman win the election, and then this happened at the end. No one heard it. Oh crap! We got to make Bernie look even stupider. Let's get the audio out, and it appeared in a report on CBS with I think this is Nora.
Senator, have you spoken to Senator Warren?
Neither Senator Bernie Sanders nor Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I have no further comment on this.
Wanted to discuss what everyone else is talking about, their confrontation after Tuesday night's debate.
I think you called me a liar on national TV. What? I think you called me a liar on national TV.
Let's not do it right now. You want to have that discussion? We'll have that discussion. You called me. You told me. All right, let's not do it now.
The disagreement stems from whether he once told her.
Now, did you hear a difference? I shall play this. That wasn't Nora O'Donnell, obviously. I'm going to play the CBS report snippet again.
Their confrontation after Tuesday night's debate.
I think you called me a liar on national TV. What? I think you called me a liar on national TV.
The original audio, as played by this show on the previous program, is different.
I think a liar on national TV.
You see, she messed it up. She said, a liar on national TV?
A liar on national TV. What? I think you called me a liar on national TV.
So I don't know why, but they decided to double the exact same piece instead of the original clip.
I remember it as, I think you called me a liar on national TV, not I think a liar or whatever she said there. But the first part was extremely garbled, and you couldn't hear it. I think there's even a third version of this. But it's, I don't know. Just to clarify, I don't think it was a I don't think it was illegal, quote unquote.
Well, maybe not illegal.
They're just trying to make it. I don't think they need to repeat it. I think they just could have used.
They could have just used the one, yeah.
Now the thing about this I find is that CNN doubled down by having a body language person on to discuss this.
Did you get it?
I have it, yeah. But I just want to point something out.
Is it the one from YouTube? Is it that lady?
No, this is a different one. I've never seen this woman
she's
before.
The best. She's the best.
This is a woman named Janine, and the clip, if you want to cue it up, is unfortunately I spelled it Hanine, I believe, or something stupid. Whereas I got Nanine drive body language. But anyway, the thing that I noticed about this, or I was thinking about, and I'm glad you got that other clip from CBS. And I pointed this out in the newsletter that the New York Times in particular has been going after Bernie. David Brooks came out with a column saying something about Bernie's a jerk. And then the New York Times has a reporter that just goes after Bernie. They are now pulling out all the weapons they can to submarine Bernie's campaign. They don't play his rallies because they're just not going to do that.
Well, the rallies have numbers; they look great, and
they've got big numbers.
And God forbid we get the election we deserve in America. Put the socialists against the capitalists.
Making sure Bernie doesn't really have much of a chance, but he still keeps his numbers up. So they've got to do all these other things. This particular analysis is quite interesting, and of course, they make it clear that Bernie is a liar.
scandals hurt you more when they seem plausible, right?
This is not CNN. This is our favorite Joy Reid show on MSNBC.
I mean, Bernie Sanders does have a sort of physicality, when he talks, that is a shaking your finger at Hillary Clinton, shaking your finger, shovey, weirdy. His physicality makes me think, he could have said, listen, I think in this environment a woman can't win. That doesn't seem like a crazy
Well, first of all, I think Bernie's lying. We see him; he slouches forward anyway, Joy. But here he turtles. If you look at his eye level, where
he turtle. He does do that. He is a turtle. Like his head goes down, his shoulders come up.
She makes the assertion, and this is an interesting one to look for. If your eyes drop below your shoulders because you've dropped your head down, you're turtling.
Yeah,
that is an indication of a liar.
Well, so he's a reptile. This is the best part.
That could be too.
Emily answers questions. When he makes the denial, his whole shoulders come up like a little kid getting caught. His eye level is below his shoulders. This is trying to hide in plain sight. And many of us, we don't know what to look for. So if you look for this right out of the gate, and the strongest denial is simply saying no. And I think women in particular, we want to believe human beings. So we're like, I would say that. He literally said, well, as a matter of fact, I didn't say it. That's 9 words. Unnecessary. No. Did you vote for Donald Trump in the last election?
Absolutely no.
Right? So no. Did you dress up as an Easter bunny on Easter?
Absolutely no.
Right? So it's no. We say no. Absolutely is actually not the strongest denial. You're playing with me here in the game, but at least you're getting the no in here. We're not hearing the no with Bernie. Also with Bernie, he has numerous hot spots. He says, well. Liars like to start with well. He looks away. He laughs. I think he might have been coached to laugh in this moment. A lot of politicians are coached to laugh in the difficult times. So we're focused on the laughter, and it's supposed to send a message that this isn't serious. It is serious. If he said it, which I believe that he did, he would have been better to just own it. Barack Obama wrote a book years ago, and he said what in the book? He tried cocaine and marijuana, and he never touched the stuff again. We never talked about it when he was president after that. If Bernie just owned it, this would disappear. We wouldn't be talking about it 6 days later.
But Bernie, he did the opposite.
What does that say about you, mainstream media, that you never talked about it? We talked about it. What was that? Larry Sinclair talked about it quite extensively. President Obama apparently was smoking a lot of things back in the day. Yes, I don't really have. What I do have, I finally got the Supercuts analysis. What the M5M thought of the debates, and this is pretty much all MSNBC, CNN, PBS, CBS, NBC.
This was not the type of night of ambition we expected.
It was a dull and plodding debate. There weren't a lot of fireworks.
Was it fiery? Could you feel the crackling in here? No.
Not really even any pointed questions.
We saw no one swing big.
Nobody looked good on the debate stage.
Tonight for me was dispiriting.
Caution was the most active participant.
Democrats gonna have to do better than what we saw tonight.
I want this race to get tougher.
But is anybody confident looking at these people?
There was nothing I saw tonight that would be able to take Donald Trump out.
This race has been gentle, and whoever comes out the other side is running against Donald Trump.
How is this going to condition the ultimate nominee to take on the beast that Donald Trump is?
Everybody's weakest performance.
If you can't take on and take charge in the debate, what gives people the confidence you can do that with Donald Trump?
Yeah, I'm feeling the swoop coming. Here she comes. By the way, I did that at the table last night. I said, "Qua, qua." Hillary's going to swoop in. Didn't bat an eye. Thought it was normal that I did that. So Hillary is now pretty much owning Sundance Festival. Everybody's talking about the Hillary documentary, which airs on Hulu March 6th. Which is the timing is just kind of beautiful. If you're interested, I can play the trailer. They have a new trailer out. Some of the audio, I think particularly the end of this trailer really tells you what she's thinking.
I provoked strong opinions.
Are we ready? There's so much to talk about.
Okay. I didn't grow up thinking about going into politics, but much to my surprise, was elected president of the Young Republicans. I got into law school. I thought I'm going to try to make a difference in people's lives.
I took a class and I saw Hillary sitting there.
And he was watching me.
She
close the law book.
I said, if you're going to keep looking at me and I'm going to keep looking back, we ought to know each other's names. I'm Hillary Rodham. Who are you?
She was different than anybody I ever met. I said, I really want to marry you, but you shouldn't marry me.
There is a set of expectations about a first lady. I violated them from the very beginning.
She brought to the forefront women's roles in society.
This is radical feminism.
Me deciding to ask Hillary to become Secretary of State surprised people.
Hillary's polarizing.
Human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights.
People would run up clutching copies of that speech, reciting that line from it.
Emails blew up.
Bang. It played into all of the suspicions. She's so sketchy.
Cold, calculating.
She could actually be crazy.
There is this sense that she knows that she is an ethical, moral person, and that can blind anyone.
You know, you get scarred up a little bit.
It wasn't like I thought, how can I think about the most stupid thing I could possibly do and do it?
I didn't want anything to do with him. Chelsea put herself between us and held both our hands.
As long as she has been in public light, there have been these ups and downs. You know, be our champion, go away.
You want to make a difference. You want to have an impact. Well, then you got to get in the arena.
You got to get in the arena. I'm telling you, man, this is a campaign ad.
How many, if the trailer just has, they have a bunch of these hypnotic vamps, and then they play a kind of a lullaby thing later in that trailer. I wonder if during the show itself they're going to be trying to trick us with music.
Oh, to play that kind of music and then just suck us in?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm always looking for is, okay, what is going to be the insurance policy this year? Because obviously the Senate is not going to kick the president out. Just seems highly unlikely. Anything could happen, and it would be great for the show, but it seems highly unlikely. We've already heard the mainstream say, there's no one can take on Trump. None of these guys can do it, guys and gals.
No, now they call him a beast.
Trump is, who will take on Trump, the beast? So let's go.
It was in that clip series that you played.
I know. That was and that was on MSNBC saying Trump is a beast. They can't beat him. So what is
beast mode?
Beast mode. What is the plan? Let's go to the Council on Foreign Relations, shall we? They usually have some ideas when they're around drinking in the club. Jane Harman stands up and asks a question of a panel discussing this very issue. And she injects some interesting concepts.
So we haven't talked about any potentially catastrophic events that could happen between now and the election, such as another major terrorist attack, major 9/11 style attack, which maybe not that, but close enough, or massive Russian disinformation campaign. Clearly identified, but massive, really creating doubt in many states about whether the election was fair and who voted and all that. If those things happen, especially given the fact that we have acting everybody in the Homeland Department and so on, how does that affect the election?
What do you think of this? What do you think of how does her brain even work? Well, obviously, the only thing that could still disrupt this is, like a 9/11, not exactly, but kind of like a 9/11 style attack with lots of people dead. Or the Russians actually changed the votes. I mean, why does this woman even think this way? This is... Anyway,
she's always creeped me out. I think she's a reptile for sure.
Here's the answer.
Great question.
I think
great question.
On the terrorist side, that question, a lot would depend upon what happened, how it happened, how close to the election, who is seen as being responsible for it. Is it clear, for example, that the administration failed in some way or failed with its immediate response? So there's a lot of factors that would play it out. But going back to this issue of whether doubts are raised about the legitimacy of the vote totals, if you were asking sort of look at one wild card that could really unsettle American politics, I think it's exactly that. And you don't actually need to have anyone penetrate a the electoral rolls or to change the vote. If people believe, perhaps because of disinformation, that somehow a vote count wasn't actually accurate, and that would matter obviously the most if you have a very close election. I mean, imagine a state in which it holds the balance in the Electoral College. You have a less than 1% margin, and there are questions raised about whether the votes were accurately tallied. That would be, I think, a problem that would have a very long shelf life, which is why I would hope that we as a country would have taken much greater steps to ensure our election security.
Now, it's just a drinking club. They're just, shooting the breeze, shooting from the hip. They're just spitballing. But, that would be an obvious tactic, is to say the Russians changed the actual votes. Take us back to hanging chads and stuff like that. And then manual counts and recounts. You can just see it coming down Broadway. They're coming up with another truly disinformation.
There's something else going on parallel to this, which is I haven't been able to analyze it well. But everybody and their sister is going after Zuckerberg.
Yeah, even Biden said he doesn't like Zuckerberg.
It's always the lefties. The right wing is said, well, whatever. They don't like Facebook. They don't like its influence. But the left seems to be adamant about, and it seems to go like this. I don't understand why Zuckerberg isn't with us.
Wow.
Like the Google boys are.
Well, can I because I actually watched 2 hours of antitrust hearings, which I have a clip for, maybe after the second half. The main issue seems to be that FaceBag has decided not to censor or take down political ads that may not be factually correct. In fact, the New York Times wrote, and I have it in the show notes somewhere, I'll paraphrase it. New York Times wrote, it's, while Donald Trump blatantly lies in ads about, Joe Biden, FaceBag's not taking it down. So I think that's where a lot of this anger stems from.
Yeah, I think they're definitely, but that's again, they're targeting him too. The New York Times is now. The thing that can't be overlooked is when you discuss the New York Times or even the Washington Post or any of them targeting Facebook, is because Facebook is eating their advertising lunch.
Yeah, and also
they are stealing money from the big boys.
Well, also, where Twitter, the dumbbells that they are, said we're not going to do any political ads during the season. I mean, that is the number one advertising event in the United States is an election season. Billions of dollars, mainly going online now. I mean, at least 70%, I think, is going to be spent online.
Dumbbells. That's about it.
Yeah. We're not going to take any money. No.
Jack Dorsey had to he asked Elon Musk, what do you think? What would you do if you ran my company?
What did Elon say?
I can't remember. It wasn't anything serious, so it was not memorable.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. I know what he said. Elon said, get rid of all the bots and you'll be fine. But that wasn't serious to me.
No.
But yeah, it is a dumbbell if he doesn't want to. I mean, political advertising is a bonanza.
It is the money maker. We had clips
of the Les Moonves investor call a number of years ago where he goes on and on bragging about how much money they made during the last election cycle.
Let's go play that clip.
The advertising climate couldn't be better right now, and I've never seen it this hot for a number of years. Third quarter scatter was phenomenally good, and fourth was even better than that. So as the year ends and we move into 16, guess what? In 16, we have an extra AFC champion playoff game. We have the Super Bowl, and we have a year of political advertising that looks like it's shaping up to be pretty phenomenal. We love having all 16 Republican candidates throwing crap at each other. It's great. The more they spend, the better it is for us. And go Donald. Keep keep getting out there, and this is fun. Watching this, let them spend money on us, and we love having them in there. And we're looking forward to a very exciting political year in 2016.
Isn't it interesting that Les Moonves got #MeToo'd?
Yep.
After saying
Says,
that,
go Donald. Next thing you know, he's out.
He's out. Oh yeah, I'll show you. Uh-huh.
And I want you to name one of the women who he accosted or anything. Is there anybody that you can think of? I don't know.
Yeah. It was one of the older women. It was like I think she was in her mid-50s. I'm not the same age as me. She was in accounting or something, or within the company. But apparently he was quite the the mover and shaker within the corporation. Ugh.
Well, he had to go.
Yeah, he had to go. But that's exactly it. And so here's Jack Dorsey. No, we won't take your money. Okay. Short face bag. I mean, Twitter. And the bag is smart. The bag is smart. Yeah, they just keep it. But
whatever is ever, blah, blah, blah. If you don't like what these guys are advertising, do some advertising of your own.
Since it came up, there was an antitrust hearing. It was several hours, and it was held in Colorado for some reason. Apparently, they have these trials in the field, I think they call them, and so they bring in people, and it was against Apple. There was a software guy. It was like, Apple, we can't really even do it and make money off of our software. Apple wants 30% from the App Store. If we even put a link in the app, they may take it off. They have too much power. To which I say, well, their phone, their system, go make a phone. Google, of course, was under the gun. The most interesting, I think, was Amazon, who was really turning out to be, a true evil corp. And we've discussed this again. This is the CEO, his name is Barnett, of PopSockets. And PopSocket is that's the phone case you put on your smartphone, and then the button pops out so you can hold on to it. It's very popular with women, so they can walk around shopping with their bags.
There's a bunch of these.
Got a kid on one arm. Right. So the original PopSockets, which is patented, trademarked, but patented for sure. And this is a big item, like 170 million units sold. But this guy explains how Amazon operates. And, it's not that long. I'll play this, and then we can discuss it if necessary.
So we started our direct relationship with Amazon about a year and a half into business. So the middle of 2016, we started selling product to Amazon. Amazon, in turn, would sell our product on the marketplace. It was immensely successful. Within 5 months, Amazon became our largest customer, and we became one of Amazon's most significant players in the mobile electronics accessory category. We were PopSockets was the number 3 search term at some point on Amazon. So we had immense success, but despite the success, we never felt like we had a genuine partnership with Amazon. So the problem of counterfeits is the first problem I'll talk about. We had enormous amounts of fake product that were taking our sales, creating bad customer experiences, and of course it was illegal. So illegal activity on behalf of those selling them. And when Amazon was the seller, Amazon was clearly engaged in this illegal activity. And multiple times we discovered that Amazon itself had sourced counterfeit product and was selling it alongside our own product. For a year and a half, we requested that Amazon take some action, some serious action, and just require evidence from sellers that they were selling authentic product. After a year and a half, finally, in exchange for about $1.8 million of retail marketing funds, which my team deemed ineffective, Amazon agreed to work with their brand registry department to require this evidence.
So the way it works now on Amazon is if you want to actually have your product, in this case, the guy's original product, not imitation, if you want that to even show up, you have to buy ads on Amazon. And these guys, I mean, it's pretty brazen what they're doing. It's like, oh, okay, so we have a store. and you're in the store, and then you're very popular in the store, then we're going to promote other products either like yours or complete ripoffs and illegal product. And if you don't like it, well, we can change that, but you have to advertise. And it's advertising for Amazon's own store. It's genius. It's truly evil corp.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
These kinds of business scams, which you pretty hard to regulate. I don't know what you do about it. I mean, you're going to stop shopping at Amazon because it pulls stunts like this, or you're going to try to make yourself aware so you don't buy the scam product.
Yeah.
They sold all kinds of crazy stuff that is no good. I mean, I remember there's a company that was selling memory sticks that would, when you plug them in, it says you got 2 gigabytes, but it's only like 128 megs because it was some trick that was going on. And they sold lots of them before they took them off the market. I'm reminded of the book publishing business, which I was involved in, enough so that when Pearson Publishing started buying up all the computer presses, they bought all of them. They bought Prentice Hall, they bought Macmillan, and they own Q. And if you had a bestseller, if you wrote a book that was like a real hot book, they would have Q do a kind of a copy or a clone of the book, and then they would promote that, because with Q, it was all the writers were just paid per book. They were never paid royalties.
Right.
So you got a guy making a lot of money on royalties. Right. Well, let's just shove our interests over to the Q book where nobody's getting any royalties. We sell more books, and then they would put their promotion behind the Q book. This sort of thing goes on constantly in business. It's horrible. Microsoft used to be known for stealing people's ideas and making kind of cheap copies of them and putting people out of business.
Right. Well, in this case, though, people have put all of their trust and their product and everything into Amazon, and it's putting businesses, brick and mortar businesses, out of business. You know, people will have to start learning to support businesses directly, I guess, if they want them to stick around. Otherwise, these things will go away. That's just the market forces
end up going away. The public's conscientiousness is lacking.
Yeah. Oh my God, no more pop holders. What will we do? What will we do?
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
And unlike Amazon, we have a few people to thank for supporting our show and keeping it going. Kyle Cook at the top of the list in Norman, Oklahoma. Quarter of his way to knighthood, he wants a de-douching.
Yes. You've been de-douched.
Happy to comply.
Meanwhile, Brian Brown in Los Angeles, California, $133.33. I believe he wants a de-douching.
And it's his 33rd birthday today.
You've been de-douched.
You're on the list.
David Russell, $120.20 in Aurora, Colorado. Came in as a check. Oh no, Priester in Oh no, Priester insist. Netherlands.
Oh no, Priester in
Yes.
Soest.
Soest.
Very good.
10101. Vicky Forrest, 100. Anna Blexrud in Austin, Texas, right there, 87.33.
And it's a happy 33rd birthday to my smoking hot, tall drink of water husband, Nick Blexrud. All right.
Wow.
Very nice. We will, he's on the list.
Stephen Draper, 8008 in Arlington, Virginia. Sir Herb Lamb, Earl of Georgia, 8008. And he's got a birthday. Wow. Yep. He's not 33, though.
No.
Baron Mark Tanner, our twice-a-month donor. In Whittier, California, 6789. Dame Monica Lansing, 6633. And she says it's a piss-poor donation.
No, we'll take
Stephen
it.
Sandoval, 6333.
Wait a minute. What is with the 6633 and 6333? Is this some code that we're missing?
6633 and 6333. Well, the 6633 is a piss-poor donation, so I don't know what 6333 is.
All right.
Sir Steve, Knight of the Southern Skies, 5555. Thanks us for the rain stick. Sir Alexander, Knight of the White Mountains, 5555. New York City meetup. Aaron Garcia in Tempe, Arizona, 5555. Thomas Miller, 5555. In Schaumburg, Illinois. Sir. Okay. See if you can.
Slarty Bartfast.
Slarty Bartfast.
Yeah.
Disqualified art in the newsletter caught my attention. Dean Roker, 5510. Amber Simpson, 5510. That art I've used in the newsletter probably 3 times. It goes way back to show like 100 or something.
Oh, really?
It's an oldie but a goodie. It's one of the funniest pieces ever. Dean Roker, 5510. And Amber Simpson, 5510. Baron Bob of the High Point. NC4RG, 73s.
73s, K5ACC.
High Point, North Carolina, 5510. Nancy Murphy, 5241, out of San Bruno, California. Sergeant Postal, 5033, loves the show. And Arnie Carlson, 5005. And this is a contribution for Christina Carlson. Mm-hmm. Lauren Jackson, Londonderry, New Hampshire, 5005. Hoping to catch Sir Onimus of Dogpatch with his generous offer. Let me read this. For the Dame Drive. I'm a single mom currently awaiting being fired from my longtime job working for The Man. And I clearly see that donating to No Agenda is magic. I could use some karma. We'll give you some of that.
No. Hey, single moms, get it right away.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
Berate me.
Karma.
What? What did you say?
Showed to berate me.
I'm not berating you. I'm just saying single moms, get it right away. That's a bumper sticker. Single moms, get it right away. Yeah, boy, hey-oh.
Joel DeRuin, yes. Well, she is now probably on the list there. I mean, if Sir Onimus is listening, Sir Joel DeRuin in Savannah, Georgia, 50. These following people are $50 donors. Name and location: Deborah Oliver in Charlotte, North Carolina; Brad Taylor in Duval, Washington; Scott Lavender in Montgomery, Texas. I think it's a Sir. And I think it's a Sir Andrew Gusick, too, in Greensboro, North Carolina. Anonymous. Chris Wallace in St. Thomas, Ontario. Sir Jerry Wingenroth, our buddy in Saugus, California. And last but not least, Daniel Galloway in Marietta, Georgia. And I want to thank all these folks for making 1209 happen.
Yeah, and you are the producers. You know it, and you've done your job, and a lot of people have done their job for this show, which includes clips, artwork, ideas, feedback, expertise. Money is important. It is value that works. It works for us, and it keeps the show going. Cannot be more appreciative. Also, for those who donated under $50, a lot of you are on our programs, our subscriptions. Please check them out at Dvorak.org/NA. Also, people donating under 50, so we don't read their name to remain anonymous. But once again, we've pulled it off. We look forward to the next one, so please keep us in mind for the next show, which will be on Thursday.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Sir Vince, Baron of Floribama, says, in the morning, I'd like to request an F cancer for my dad. He's suffering renal cancer. Would that be retinal or renal? Renal?
Renal, yeah, renal.
Where's your renal?
It's the kidneys, liver, one of the two.
Oh, brother. Renal cancer, and we'll be seeing the specialist this week. Well, of course we'll do that for
you. You've got karma.
And the jobs karma for anybody who needs it.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
It's a birthday. Oh, no agenda.
And here's your birthday list for January 19th, 2020. Jack Janusso says happy birthday to his brother Chris, celebrating 30 years on the 23rd of January. Chuck Douglas says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife, Jolene Douglas, and it's her birthday today. Brian Brown, turning 33 today. Anna Blexrud says happy birthday to her smoking hot husband, Nick Blexrud. He'll be celebrating tomorrow. And finally, on Tuesday, we say happy birthday to Sir Herb Lamb, and happy birthday to everybody on behalf of the best podcast in the universe. We have two nightings, and we have a dame in waiting, but that will be for Thursday. So let's bring out the blades for the Nightorama. Hello?
Got it.
Oh,
sorry.
Jeez.
The sheet.
Tony, the keeper, wants to be up here. Tony, come on up. Gene Morphus also up on the podium. Both of you are supporting the No Agenda show in the amount of $1,000 or more. That gives you a spot at the No Agenda round table of our knights and dames. And I hereby pronouncedicate thee Sir Tony of Dimples and Gene Morphus, Knight of the Neurogenesis. For you, we've got Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay. We've got a mini keg of Heineken by request. Chilled Polish potato vodka, Redheads and Rye. We've got Bong Hits and Bourbon, Sparkling Cider and Escorts, Ginger Ale and Giblets, breast milk and pablum, geishas and sake, and, of course, mutton and meat. It's a favorite here at the round table. Head over to noagendanation.com/rings, and Eric the Shield will make sure that we get all your information and get you your ring, your sealing wax, and your certificate as soon as possible. And thank you for your courage in supporting the No Agenda show.
No Agenda Meetup.
It's like a party! That's right, the No Agenda meetups are worldwide. They are global. And I'd like to give you the list of upcoming meetups. You can find them all at noagendameetups.com. But first, let's listen to some meetup reports. We like these when people do them. We had very successful meetups in the past couple of days. We head over to New York City.
In the morning, this is Athena and
Alex,
reporting from FEMA Region 2.
Thanks for coming.
Yo, it's Mike, the boy in Bushwick, and it's definitely like a party.
Hello, it's Vernon from Gramercy Park. Closed.
Anonymous O from Brooklyn, and thank you for your courage. Everything you're doing is a public health service. Thank you.
Sir Alex, Knight of the White Mountains, donate douchebags.
Hi.
You're also Alex.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Hi. Jaron from New Jersey, we're number one.
Hi, it's Winnie from Syracuse. I drove 500 miles for that. This is Dame Tanya from the Snowstorm New York City meetup, and I'm going to try and do a live Little Girl Yay. Yay!
Dan Franco from the Bronx, in the morning. It's 9 o'clock somewhere.
Jen Franco from the Bronx. It's true!
Jeff from Manhattan, in the morning.
In the morning, Miguel represents the minorities. Thank you.
I'm Tom Starkweather, and I'm over here with...
this is Nick the Rat, coming to you live from the No Agenda Show.
This is David Raymer, who has a monthly.
And this is our friend we just hit in the mouth.
Thank you. I appreciate that I still have my teeth.
It's like a party!
What a great group. And where else can you get a group as diverse as that? We have people with different accents from different countries. We have our minority representation. I mean, this is a great representation of a No Agenda meetup. People from all ages, all backgrounds, all creeds, race, religion, you name it. No triggering. You can't be triggered because the amygdalas are small and you just hang out and have a good time together. And I loved hearing that one. So that was our New York City meetup. Let's do another one, the Charlotte meetup. And some of the pictures that are posted online are phenomenal. This is another great group.
Hey, Crackpot and Buzzkill. This is Bill Cameron, the organizer of the Charlotte meetup. Bill is spelled B-Y-L. And we're here with our creaky chairs and noisemakers. So in the morning, a lot of good times. About 20 folks showed. So here's Sir Euchre.
Hey, this is Dave, Sir Euchre, in the morning.
Robert Case from Mill Springs, North Carolina, in the morning.
Hey, John and Adam, it's Sir Hey Moose. A good turnout in the crowd today, and I'd like to lay down the gauntlet. I'll pay an extra $100 in my next donation if John can guess from our photographs which ones of us have had a vasectomy. In the morning, gentlemen.
This is Sir Bill of the Rock, avoiding a 6.5-week-old in the morning.
This is Sir Psychopath in the morning.
In the morning, this is Sir Kevin Dills, the Viscount of Charlotte.
Elise in the morning.
Ben in the morning. I am a douchebag, but we're fixing that soon.
Hey, Rick, Sir Julian Too Simple. I'm the Chinese token minority of the group. So.
Chinese asshole!
Yeah.
In the morning, this is Bill.
Hello from Allie Jane.
All right. So we've listened to this. We're in Charlotte. We got, hey, man, I'm the token Chinese guy. And then we're like, China's asshole. Did anyone freak out? No. And in the end, Allie Jade is the official No Agenda tranny. This is beautiful. This is exactly what the social justice wokeness warriors want the world to be. Guess what? We just are not triggered by all the nutsack stuff that you guys are putting out there. It seems to be okay. People can actually hang out and have a good time. The Charlotte meetup, fantastic. And John, you have a challenge, I see, for an extra $100 donation. You need to spot the snipped.
Well, I looked at the photos already.
Uh-huh.
And there's probably about, I'd say 3 guys maybe that are possibles.
Oh. Will you mark it up and post it online? I think you should do like a little.
I don't want to embarrass.
No, yeah, you should do a little with a white circle. You know, circle their groin area, and the facial features.
I'll take another look.
All right, here's what's happening meetup-wise. We're looking at next Friday, but now for the 24th, Oregon Local 33 at 6:30. The Grand Duke of Pacific Northwest proclaims another joint meetup. So make sure you go to local Bar 33 in Brooklyn, Portland. Next Saturday, Local 406 Montana, 4 o'clock is the inaugural meetup. So the first time in Montana at the Conflux Brewing. Christopher Raymer is your host. Also next Saturday, the 816 edition. That's also a brand new meetup in Kansas City, Missouri. Dame DeLorean and Sir Spencer, Wolf of Kansas City, have decided to organize the first one at the Rhino in North Kansas City. Atlanta Local 404, 3:33 Eastern Time. That will be next Saturday. Or this coming Saturday, I guess. Needed to give the beloved Alisa a send-off as she embarks on a whirlwind tour of Gitmo Nation Asia and the Eurolands. Contact Mark for venue details, but it will be on noagendameetups.com. Also next Saturday, New England Winter Meetup. That will be FEMA Region 1's meetup at the Wachusett Brewery, the Brew Yard in scenic Westminster, Massachusetts. Moscow, Russia. We have Gareth Kuchinkas, I believe, who invites a burger and a beer with fellow No Agenda listeners in Moscow, Russia, 2 o'clock on Saturday the 25th. Sunday the 26th, the Philly Local 76 inaugural meetup, a new meetup as well. The slaves of FEMA Region 3 are invited to the Southeast PA meetup. It'll be at the Philadelphia Brewing Company. Scatman of Norristown hosting that. And Alexandria, Virginia will be the meetup next Sunday. Trademark Drink and Eat is the new location. Sir William of West Pennsylvania is your host for that. Reminder, the 21st of February, the Keeper and I will be in Delray Beach in Florida, and looking forward to that meetup. No Agenda Meetups. It's like a party. NoAgendaMeetups.com. And thank you all for participating.
What's noteworthy is that this whole thing, especially with some of these great meetups where you, like in Charlotte, where you had 20 people and New York had about the same, is that before noagendameetups.com, this wasn't possible using the free services that are just junk
from meetups.
I remember when I went to a couple of meetups that were going through the old meetups.com, and you'd go over to the site and say, oh, you didn't sign up fast enough. You didn't do this. You got to do that. You got to jump through hoops.
Yeah.
Because it's all arbitrary, because you weren't calling the shots yourself. These guys had a bunch of arbitrary rules and what you had to do and all the rest of it. It was just barriers that made it so you couldn't really do a lot of meetups because it was just too rigid. It was too restrictive. The No Agenda meetups and doing stuff yourself. This is why we have our own servers for our show.
And I'd just like to mention this is another excellent example of the value for value system, our Value for Value network, Daniel Tomash, set up noagendameetups.com, and that's his contribution. And he took away all the headache, and look at the result. I cannot agree with you more.
And mentioning him, we might as well mention Mimi, who does probably a lot more work than she should.
Well, no, but we definitely need to mention Mimi. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. But the point is that this is the kind of thing that it just shows you that if you don't, you go into these Silicon Valley ideas and just following along as Gmail and meetups.com and all these other systems and they always end up failing at some point, leaving you in the lurch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is what bothers me about LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I mean, LinkedIn, when I first joined them, you could download your contact list and then maybe use it in your own address system or whatever you wanted to do. And they would have the email addresses. They stopped giving you the email addresses of your own contacts. When you do a download, you don't get anything.
For years, all we do is install apps that say, I would like access to your contacts. Is that okay? For years, we've been giving Silicon Valley our contacts, and now they're saying, no backsies.
Yeah.
Douchebags.
Yeah. LinkedIn is a pathetic shell of itself because of that one factor. And I would not advise people to join it, even though they're not going to stop, because it's a good way to, build up a lot of people following you or you following them.
And pick up chicks. Yeah.
Yeah, pick up chicks. Yeah.
It was an interesting article in the New York Times, which was shared widely. And I think most No Agenda producers were not surprised by this, but the rest of the world suddenly figured out that, wait a minute, it's very easy to figure out who you are based on facial recognition. In fact, the New York Times even wrote, this secretive company that might end privacy as we know it.
Oh, brother.
And the company is called Clearview AI. Did something very simple. Scraped all of the social media sites, Facebag, probably LinkedIn, if I'm sure you can scrape some, YouTube, Venmo, all kinds of sites to gather, when you have a party, ladies, I'm looking at you, and you take a selfie with your squad, and then you tag everybody. So this company went in and said, oh, look, there's a photo with tags of people. And then put it in their database. You posted it online, so it's very, very appropriate for them to use that and store that in their database. And using very simple facial recognition, you can just say, hey, here's a photo of someone. We got it off a closed circuit TV. We got it off, whatever it is. You put it into the machine, and it then spits out your name and links to everywhere that your name has appeared on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, etc., Instagram. And 600 law enforcement agencies are using this. And apparently, the New York Times was surprised, as were many people. What? They can track us? You gave the information to the world, and now, and I love the headline, secretive company. Is that a secretive company? The guy's name is Ton Tot. Ton Tot. And he just threw it together.
Yeah.
So
obvious.
simple.
It's an obvious thing to do.
It was a perfect...
Why is this a big shock to anybody?
Yeah,
you have to be very naive. What was the tech writer who wrote that? Who was that?
No, hold on, let me check it out. The tech writer, Kashmir Hill. Who's Kashmir Hill?
I had never heard of him. Sure.
Kashmir Hill is a tech reporter based in New York. She writes about the unexpected and sometimes ominous ways technology is changing our lives, particularly when it comes to our privacy. She joined the New York Times in 2019 after having worked as an investigative reporter at Gizmodo Media Group and a writer and
Gizmodo Investigator Group.
Editor at Fusion. Her writing has appeared in the New Yorker and the Washington Times. Oh, she gave a TED Talk. In 2018, she gave
TED or TEDx?
It just says TED Talk. What your smart devices know and share about you, in which she described what happened.
TED Talks have devolved into that?
In which she described what happened when she transformed her apartment into a smart home and monitored the data being sent out of it. Well, let's see. she may be lying about that. Let's see if it was a TED Talk or TEDx, because that would be funny.
It could just be TED for Women. There's TED for Women.
What is that?
That's another little offshoot.
It was a TED. Oh, no, it is. No, it's a. Is this? Let me see. Here it is. Let's see. Is this a TED? No, it's a proper TED. It's a proper TED. It's TED proper. Not a TEDx.
She got a TED Talk to discuss the mundane and the banal?
Yep, she got it. Last year, even.
Wow.
Yeah, or no, a year ago, 2018. Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway,
most of the TED Talks about worms growing in your walls or something more interesting.
Now, the European Union is looking at a temporary ban on facial recognition in public places. This is good. In fact, a lot of countries are doing much better than we are. I got a note from one of our producers who is in the field of RBA, robotics process automation, which I cavalierly called screen scraping. This goes back to the company Plaid, which all of your financial apps are tied into. The way they manage your bank account is by you, stupidly enough, giving your login and password to the company so that they can then do anything they want, profile. They could do anything that you can do in front of your computer, logging in yourself. They, in fact, they replicate the human being. A few things he wanted to share with us. This tech is far beyond screen scraping. The tools are capable of using image recognition, optical character recognition, handwriting recognition, neurolinguistic programming, to some degree machine learning, to simulate a human user as much as possible. Popular platforms are Blue Prism, UiPath, Automation Anywhere, but now Microsoft is also entering the field. So what can they do given access to an account with credentials? Absolutely anything the user can do, and likely more with permission from the target company, which would be your bank. They're not defeated by Citrix environment automation prevention measures, although they are slowed by it. They can use everything we mentioned, as well as DOM, which is document object model manipulation, JavaScript injection, APIs, anything you can think of they can use as data or a data connector. Australia, interestingly, has legislated against this. They are, it's called the Consumer Data Right. Under this legislation, eventually all industries, not just banks, will need to create standard APIs that give customers the right to share their data with the apps. The legislation gives the customer the right to explicitly control what data is shared, what it is used for, and they can require it to be deleted at any time. Of course, This is not possible with Plaid. Even if you leave them, they'll still have. By the way, I think the easy way to get rid of, if you want to make sure that Plaid can't log into your bank account, is change your password and put in two-factor authentication. That seems to stop them dead in their tracks. Now, you won't be able to use Venmo, Cash App, Robinhood, Acorns, Coinbase, everything that you do money with on your phone, but I think the No Agenda Show would recommend this is a good thing to do, is to leave.
I have a really good idea for people who need to do this kind of thing.
Okay.
Actually carry cash. Still there, still available. It's old-fashioned.
Well, you're going to give cash to your buddies to settle the bill of drinks? No, we can't have that.
Cash.
And we
keep a couple of hundos in your wallet. You look like a big shot.
We missed our opportunity once again, even though we should have both understood this. I'm very mad. Our exit strategy once again been thwarted. We've been usurped. We're idiots. We learned years ago that every single website that performs a public service, does not necessarily have to be a nonprofit or governmental website, but a public service, would have to have everything annotated for the deaf, which means all videos need to have subtitles. There's more that needs to be. This is Americans with Disabilities Act regulations.
Yep.
And we've already seen companies getting sued over this. Can you believe that we missed this one? a deaf man filed a lawsuit against Pornhub.
Yeah.
I think he can make this stand up in court, to coin a phrase.
I think so too.
And can you imagine how much work there will be to create all porn videos, make sure they have subtitles? And we also have to have ADA regulations for the blind. You need to have man walks in with pizza. Woman opens door scantily clad. That has to be in. That's going to be a law. It's going to be a regulation.
Yeah. I agree.
We should have been suing them. This has no agenda written all over. I know. I happen to have hearing aids. It's just a coincidence. I can't hear it. I need help.
Yeah, we missed the boat. Yeah. I do have a clip blitz for the end of the show if you want.
Yeah, actually, let's roll up the wheel.
What the hell was that?
That's the clip blitz wheel.
Wow. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Red 33, clip blitz.
All right, let's start with Putin stays in office.
Russia's government abruptly resigned today after President Vladimir Putin proposed sweeping changes to his country's constitution that could keep him in power after his term ends in 2024. The amendment would also give the Russian parliament greater authority. In his State of the Nation speech in Moscow, Putin insisted that his overall proposal followed the law.
The amendments do not affect the fundamental bases of our Constitution, which means they can be approved by Parliament within the framework of the current law through the adoption of the corresponding constitutional laws.
Hours later, Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev and his entire cabinet quit. Putin tapped Mikhail Mishustin, who is head of the Russian tax service, to be the next prime minister.
It's another no agenda.
Me Too in China.
A journalist and leading activist in China's fledgling Me Too movement was freed today after 3 months. Human Rights Watch said that 30-year-old Sophia Wang Xuanqin had been detained on a charge known as suspicion of provoking trouble. She had reported on the Me Too movement, on sexual harassment in the Chinese workplace, and on the protests in Hong Kong.
Flu in Kansas City.
Oh, shoot! I'm sorry, I dropped your clip.
The flu is affecting children particularly hard this season. A rare strain of the virus is going around, and it is proving deadly. KCTV5's Casey Jones is live, and she's been investigating exactly why this year, the season, seems to be so bad. She's live now from Children's Mercy on Broadway. Casey.
Here at Children's Mercy, they've been seeing a lot of type B flu cases. That's right on trend with national numbers. Most deaths and hospitalization in children have been linked to this type B. So doctors say to reduce your likelihood of ending up here, a vaccine is the answer.
Red 33, clip blitz.
Lunar New Year celebration.
Millions of Chinese began heading home today in the world's largest annual human migration. Travelers crowded train stations and airports, bound for reunions with family so they can celebrate the Lunar New Year together on January 25th.
Red 33! Blitz.
Was that it?
One more. China population up and down.
Okay.
In China, officials announced that the population grew again last year to 1.4 billion, even though the birth rate actually fell to its lowest level in 70 years. Meanwhile, the working age population declined, but the number of those over 60 grew. They now make up 18% of the total Chinese population.
It's another no agenda.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen, our Clip Blitz for January 19th, 2020. You are up to date with all the news that matters in our Clip Blitz.
You know what's kind of funny about one of the clips? There's a lot of them from obviously Judy on PBS, but was the one about, and I didn't notice this until I just heard it, which is this concept that the Chinese, that when they celebrate the Chinese New Year, they have a big migration.
Yes. People will go to the party.
But the wordage is they're heading home.
Huh.
Now, normally when you're celebrating something, say we're going to celebrate something, you'd go
out. You go out.
You go out.
Yeah.
You won't. You're not. You don't. The beginning of the migration is not heading home. So that implies that all these millions of Chinese that are going to go celebrate Lunar New Year aren't home. They're all, in some
Foxconn
apartment in some places anywhere but home.
They're at Foxconn.
Yeah, they're at Foxconn where there's 1 million employees.
Yeah, they're trying not to look into the nets that'll catch them if they jump out a window.
It's unbelievable.
All right, I do want to bring us up to speed on. Let's see. There were actually some good hearings. So the Colorado antitrust hearing was kind of boring. It was offsite. It was the hearing in the field, but there was also a hearing about Afghanistan. Now, apparently, we're very close to, or according to the Taliban, who have tweeted, what a time we live in. The Taliban has tweeted that looks like we're ready to sign a deal sometime this coming week. The president has been talking about this, but of course, we've been too busy with Trump and Lev and cronies and Giuliani. Here's a report. It is one of the few reports I could find about what was going on with the inspector general. We know the Afghan papers came out. The war has cost trillions of dollars, immeasurable value in lives. Everyone's been lying. We've been shafted horrifically by 3 presidents now. This will be the 3rd one. Nobody seems to care because Trump, orange man bad. Here's the Voice of America's report.
John Sopko, Inspector General of an independent government watchdog created by Congress to combat waste and abuse in the U.S. reconstruction effort in Afghanistan, told the House Foreign Affairs Committee on Wednesday a persistent incentive to lie about the progress on the ground hurt U.S. efforts in Afghanistan.
You create from the bottom up an incentive because of short time frames. You're there for 6 months, 9 months, or a year to show success. That gets reported up the chain, and before you know it, the president is talking about a success that doesn't exist. And I think that's a good issue to look at, not whether there was lying, but why.
The hearing comes 1 month after a Washington Post report that government officials misled the public about U.S. gains in Afghanistan for years and hid evidence that the war had become unwinnable. The newspaper cited Seaguard documents as evidence. But Richard Boucher, who served as Assistant Secretary of State for South Asia during the Bush administration, says there was no deliberate deception.
I think all of us tried to tell the truth in terms of what was going on in the war, the difficulties that we were facing, the difficulties of getting things done in a chaotic situation like the one in Afghanistan.
Despite notable failures, experts say a rash exit from the region could lead to deadlier outcomes.
We're at a stage where we know we want to withdraw, but we want to do it responsibly, and that requires a negotiation process.
The Trump administration has been negotiating a peace agreement with the Taliban to finally bring the war to an end.
Well, we shall see. But it's very upsetting that no one, certainly not the media who holds government accountable, they don't seem to give a crap about it. I mean, there's hearings going on. There's clips for the grabbing. There's people to talk to. You can interview people. It's just like, oh, ho-hum. You know how that goes, silly old government. Dickheads.
Yeah, that's pretty much a summary there that you nailed.
Mm-hmm. You got anything before we leave?
You want something funny or interesting? Yeah, this is kind of funny and kind of interesting. This is the story comes out of Kansas City. It's actually, I think, it's really taking place in Iowa. But this is the trial by combat guy.
Tonight, a payola man is making headlines all over the world. He's proposed throwing out a judge's gavel and settling a custody battle with swords.
He's asking a judge for trial by combat. You heard that right. And KCTV5's Betsy Webster tracked him down.
I demand a trial by combat.
We can all thank Game of Thrones for bringing attention to the phrase trial by combat.
I've seen the television show and read the books.
That's what Payola's David Ostrom had in mind when he submitted these court filings in Iowa over a protracted child custody and money battle. The attention grabber? Petitioner demands the court sanction trial by combat to resolve these disputes.
I'm not interested in physically causing harm to anyone.
He says he's not violent or crazy, but frustrated by what he considers a system that in some counties, specifically in his case, he says, is stacked against men when it comes to issues of custody and financial support.
They've tried to ignore me, not address equal custody, and I think this puts a spotlight on them.
Yeah, I saw this story.
The report's about 5 minutes long, but apparently this guy's can't get any attention, so he's done this, and now it's become a big issue, and Iowa's being examined for being unfair to men.
Oh, brother. Brother. It's just one of those eye roller things. Like, okay, it's clickbait. This is how we do clickbait. On the No Agenda Show, we do it at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So there's no benefit to us.
There's never any benefit to us.
Just clickbait. And that's our deconstruction for today. As we head towards the second half of the first month of 2020. Looking forward to seeing y'all back here again on Thursday. And please remember that we need your support. Dvorak.org/NA. And coming to you from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, FEMA region number 6 on the governmental maps, in case you're looking for my coffin. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, where, again, I'll say it one more time, go Niners.
I don't know why you say go Niners when clearly was the Kansas City guys? What's their name? The Trojans? The Titans. Go Titans. There we go.
Yeah.
Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. Until next time, adios, mofos and such. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Ah, yes. End of show mixes, both by Sir Chris Wilson. The man is a force to be reckoned with. Grumpy Old Ben's next on the stream. Adios, mofos.
A long, long time ago, I knew back then that articles of impeachment would be filed. And I knew if I had the chance, with all of his incoherent rants, that maybe in a long shot he'd resign. But Mueller's report made me shiver. With every finding it delivered, conviction was elusive, the evidence inconclusive. I can't remember if I cried when the Ukraine call leaked from inside. I handed out those pens with pride the day the impeachment was signed. Bye-bye to the orange bad guy. I took this letter to the Senate 'cause the president lied. And them good old boys from Ukraine were bribed, singing, "This is the impeachment I signed. This is the impeachment I signed."
It's a hoax. Everybody knows that.
As you know, on December 18th, the House of Representatives upheld its constitutional duty and voted articles of impeachment against the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
When I find that Donald Trump's in trouble, Speaker Nancy comes to me, signing off for Congress. Let's impeach. Delivered to the Senate now. She's signed off on everything. There will be a hearing. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Donald's got to go now. Let's impeach. And when the broken-hearted people watch it all on NBC, there will be rejoicing. Let's impeach. For though it may be boring, there is still a chance that they will see Donald Trump's impeachment. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. There will be a hearing. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Donald Trump's impeachment. Let's impeach.
Here on the 18th of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive that remembers that famous day and year. It's always about marking history using time. On December 18th, the House of Representatives impeached the President of the United States. An impeachment that will last forever.
Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach, let's impeach. There will be a hearing. Let's impeach. And when Mike Pence is left in charge, we'll find something to hang on him for his own impeachment. Let's impeach. And after this election, you'll see Democrats run everything. No more opposition to impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. There will be a hearing. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Let's impeach. Donald Trump's impeachment. Let's impeach.
It's a hoax. It's a hoax. Everybody knows that. It's a complete hoax.
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA